every young kid, not the whole team, the whole group, way to bail out your captain.
Yes.
A lot of pressure on him coming back. Sure, and see how he reacts to coming back after the team had bailed.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
What's going on, everybody? John out here with you. It is Monday, May 29, 2023. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. And thank you to everyone who served us. Unless you have the lives we have today. Let's get into it for Game 6. The Vegas Golden Knights, head coached by Bruce Cassidy. It's Jack Eichel, Evan Barbashev, Jonathan Marchessault, Alec Martinez, Alex Petrangelo, William Karlsson, Riley Smith, Michael Amadio, Braden McNabb, and Shea Theodore. Chandler Stephenson, Brett Howden, Mark Stone, Nicholas Wall, William Carrier, and Keegan Goldstar with Nick Hague and Zach Whitecloud. Aiden Hill will be in goal for Vegas. And for the Dallas Stars, head coach by Peter DeBoer, it sounds like this. Rope Hintz, Jason Robertson, Joe Pavelski, Ryan Suter, Miro Heiskanen, Wyatt Johnson, Jimmy Benn, Tyler Seguin, Essen Lindell, and Yanni Hakanpää. Max Domi, Mason Marchman, Title Andrea, Radek Foxo, Joel Kiravanta, Luke Glendening, with Thomas Harley and Joel Hanley. Jake Oettinger will be in net for the Stars. So as I refresh these lineups just to make sure that everything else is all squared away, boy, do we have a completely different situation than we did just a few games ago. Vegas was up 3-0. And again, before I flipped over from the Sportsnet side back to ESPN just to make sure, because I know Dustin's probably closer on that side. He doesn't have Sportsnet. But on that end, it was a 3-0 and then a 3-0 for the Miami Heat over the Boston Celtics. They're going to play Game 7. That means Alec Knobel will have that, so give him a follow on that side if you want the basketball coverage. But I will have the Game 6 hockey coverage here with Dustin all tonight. But what a very different landscape that we've had on this side of it, because both teams are trying to go for a reverse sweep. I think that's what the kids call it on that side. So let me give you a quick little reset as we're 5 minutes in the puck drop. Vegas won Game 1, 4-3 in overtime. The Vegas goals were very greasy, except for a snipe by Karlsson. He had 2 goals. Game-winning goal was jammed in off the back of Oettinger. Benn tied the game in the third with a rebound at the doorstep. Hintz had a snipe for Pavelski. In Game 2, Vegas won 3-2 in overtime. Heiskanen scored early, 2:47, as several rebounds bounced back to him. The puck goes over the head of Hill and in. That was the first game of the series to be covered. Harley and Hanley were both sent to the box for penalties. It gave Vegas a 5-on-3 advantage as Stephenson's pass went off the skate of Lindell, was finished by Stone. Vegas had chances in the second period that went off the post. Robertson scored again. This time he poked the puck in on a power play. Vegas was held in Game 2 to a franchise low of 10 shots on goal through 2 periods. No more mistakes from Dallas as Suter lost track of Eichel behind the net. His sick no-look pass found Marchessault behind the net. In an OT, Pavelski cleared a puck right to Vegas in the slot. Dallas was stuck on a 5-on-4. On a line change, Stone fires in. The rebound was put on by Stephenson. Hill was outplaying Oettinger, and Dallas looked like they were playing lead protect. Vegas won Game 3 4-0. It was the complete implosion. They took a 3-0 series lead. Benn was suspended for a cross-check on Stone. Not even 2 minutes in, Stars were down 3-0. Over 7 minutes in the game, Oettinger was pulled. Marchessault, Barbashev, Carrier, Petrangelo all scored. Hill had a 34-save shutout, and Evgeny Dadonov exited with injury. Benn was unavailable for comments, but then he said, "I wish I didn't use my stick as a landing point for falling, as trash was littered on the ice." It was a very ugly scene. But after that, Dallas had to rally without their captain. They did so twice. In Game 4, they won 3-2 in overtime. Again, we've covered Games 4 and Game 5 and Game 3 as well. Karlsson scored on the first shot of the game as Nick Waugh stepped at the line. Riley Smith had a shot tipped. Robertson scored at 15:42 as the shot goes up the deflection on midair. Hill can't locate the puck. He was able to bat it in. And in the second period, Eichel got denied on the breakaway 3 different times. The centering pass for Marchessault was finished in close. Essen Lindell with a blast off the kick plate. Tied it at 2 as Robertson scored off the rebound. And a costly penalty by McNabb, leading to a one-timer finish by Pavelski in OT. And in Game 5, from what we just finished, Dallas won 4-2. Barbashev got a great backhand forehand move up and set up from Eichel. Again, it was the first goal by Vegas, but the second time in this playoffs, Dallas was able to come back after giving up the first goal of the game. They hadn't done so in the playoffs since then, or even in the regular season. Double deflection off a Heiskanen shot was tipped in definitively by Glendening and Hanley on that side. Glendening scored. Vegas answered with a Theodore pivot as a pass hit Stephenson for a slot in the goal. Robertson stayed with the wrist shot after the first chance was blocked to even the game in the second period 2-2. And then it was the Ty Dellandrea experience. He exploded in the third period off a one-on-one rush against Alex Petrangelo against the grain and scored. And then McNabb knocks Domi into the net of Aiden Hill. Dellandrea cleans up the mess and finishes it off. So now it's a 3-2 series Jamie Benn returns from suspension. And on that side, the change in the lineup is no Freddie Olofsson, although he was good in his first 2 games. So it's interesting on my end. It's going to put Jamie Benn in the second line with Wyatt Johnston when he was kind of mixed in there with Max Domi and Joe Kirilanta. I know they put Ty Dellandrea in the third line side, but it's very of note that second line was dominant. You could have put Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin on the third. Tyler Seguin doesn't have a point yet in this series, so maybe that would make more sense, but he's still got a second line spot. And Freddie Olofsson, who's been good, as we said, he's out. So you can make what you want to of the lineups, but Jamie Benn is in. I know the Vegas fans will say, well, they haven't won a game with Jamie Benn in the lineup, and they're feeling good. I imagine he's got to be very motivated tonight, considering everything else that happened. So I would be very surprised if I didn't see a spirited effort from Jamie Benn. But again, if Dallas doesn't win and Benn returns, as he is tonight, it's going to be a troll job on the Vegas account for the Golden Knights, no doubt about that. So again, the pressure will be on the Golden Knights to finish this off. Dallas playing with house money at this point. However, you get to a Game 7, that'll put Vegas in a situation where who knows what's going to happen at that point. That would be Wednesday on that side if we do get to that. I will be there, and the Stanley Cup Finals will begin on Saturday. The Stanley Cup Finals preview show, whoever joins with Ford on that side, whether it be Vegas or Dallas, will be Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll give you all the stats and notes, and then Saturday will be Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals with Cooper Hopkins and myself. I got Dustin all in with me right now for Game 6. He's going to be here with Game 6 and Game 7 on that side of it, should we get to it. I know he's pumped up for it. We got to the national anthems. We're taking a look at Jamie Benn right now, as he's going to be on the ice in the second line with Tyler Seguin and Wyatt Johnston.
The starting goalies for Vegas, Hill, after winning 5.
So looking at the starting goalies here, we're at American Airlines Center. It's Adin Hill, and it's going to be Jake Oettinger per usual. Adin Hill's numbers have been pretty good, 63, 230, 932, and a shutout. 4 goals against in Game 5, tied a playoff high, although he was under siege on that end. And for Jake Oettinger, again, his numbers throughout the playoffs haven't been great, but when it comes to elimination games, he turns himself into a completely different goalie. 4-1, 189, 949 in elimination. Third highest all time with Ben Bishop and Yaroslav Palat on that side. So this should be a lot of fun, and we will see here. I think a lot of people probably have their money on the Stars to be able to get this to a Game 7. I know the fans are pumped for it. I know Dustin's pumped for it. I am as well. And we're going to get set here for the puck drop. So it's going to be the second line against the first, Nick Waugh and Joe Pavelski. So Pavelski, this bounces up between his skate blades, and we are underway here at American Airlines Center in Dallas for Game 6. Can Dallas get this to a Game 7? Can Boston win a Game 7 from the reverse sweep? There's a lot going on tonight. There's a good body contact there by Vegas, and we'll brush aside Hanley and Heiskanen. They will get this one across. As Suter will play this off the kick plate and across the red line. And this is chipped a couple of times by Vegas, as this will be picked up by Howden to the right side red line on a quick short side chance by Keegan Kolesar now for the fourth line. As this goes right out in front of the slot, Oettinger, huge save, and this goes near the right side red line. I wanted to say going into this, we'll see what the first 5 minutes will bring. Again, Vegas usually scores the first goal, but I think this is going to be important for Dallas to kind of return that favor as Robertson gets taken down. And this is sent back now toward the left side dot, where this will go across the Big D logo. And off the spin, Vegas has it. It's Barbashev. He'll send this one across, and this shot gets blocked. Another big save by Oettinger, as bodies will fall down in front of the crease. Here's a slap shot. This one goes intentionally wide near the right side red line. And Tyler Seguin will flip this down, play pinball wizard. This will not be iced, and this will be sent back around. So Seguin and Benn on the third line side. Benn's going to go right back to the immediate change as another chance gets saved by Oettinger. So this looks a lot early like Game 5, where Oettinger has been tested, and he's passed them all so far. 6 goals in the playoffs, nothing for Jack Eichel as far as goals, but Tyler Seguin doesn't even have a point in this series. So 2 names you probably want to keep an eye on.
Speaking of being tested and Eichel, I said it before, I'll say it again. I think we need to get a COVID test on that guy and get him into the proper areas.
It's amazing considering how good he's been, not even having a goal. It's assists and defense and everything else. Here's a rush. Domi off the backhand, picking up near the left side dot as it's spun around the red line.
Tell you what, stats or no stats, the eye test is all you need to go by. That guy's he's affecting the game in a positive way for his team.
Absolutely. Again, we talk about not having to give up a whole hell of a lot for Vegas to even get somebody like that because he was injured. He's certainly looking like his best self now. Mason Marchment's pass. We'll go back around for Martinez, and we'll start this again. Does Vegas. This is intercepted by the Victory Green in the black pants at home of the Dallas Stars, and this is going to be a 3-on-2. Michael Amadio will have to chip and chase alongside the longtime tenured Vegas Golden, one of the original members, and Riley Smith, as this is hips away from Alec Martinez off the skip, and this will go back to Alex Pietrangelo as he gets blasted around the inboard. So Dallas certainly throwing the body, and anytime they do that, it's going to put the crowd at their feet. Karlsson lost it near the right side dot. Pick it up off the backhand now. Joe Kiravanta will try to play this ahead. It's Rope Hintz, and his shot goes off the blocker, and then in behind Aiden Hill, but doesn't cross the line. Here's another chance that goes near the right side dot as Joe Pavelski was looking for a tip, but it's a little bit too wide. And Michael Amadio will get this in across the red line. So Rope Hintz came very close. He's been a name that's been away from the goal sheet, but again, you can't keep him down for too long. He's been all over the game nonetheless, as this is sent back in. That's Lindell. We'll put this around the inboards now, and this is picked up near the right side boards. Dallas trying to get this out with Keegan Kolesar right out to the front. Scores! William Carrier! And Vegas starts it again. It's 1-0.
Sorry about letting my emotions go on that one. I'm trying to keep it concealed a little bit there, but that one was a gut wrencher, and we couldn't help it. Well, you could see that coming a mile away.
It's sometimes exactly how it happens. We talk about this when we watch a lot of games. Sometimes you get parts in the zone that get picked off. But when you have chances going the other way that are saved by Aiden Hill, this is just a turnover. Dallas is trying to figure out where to go with the puck. They were all discombobulated and went right out in front. The easiest chance in the world for Carrier, no chance for Oettinger, and 1-0 Vegas. Just miscommunications that you can't have.
So a big point in the game right here in the most recent game between the Stars and the Golden Knights, Dallas responded immediately.
Yes.
Pretty much on both of the first goals by Vegas. Are they able to keep that same mindset, that relentless, we're coming for you no matter what, or at some point, or they mentally fatigued? We'll see here pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, because as Dustin said, it was in 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes after in Game 5 when Vegas scored. Dallas got it right back before he went into the Ty Dellandrea experience. Now, man, rush! Marchessault, he just missed the left side post, and Vegas, they almost came right back and scored a goal themselves. Now here's a long pass for Eichel. This is, I would say, a little bit of danger territory right now for the Stars, even though there's so much time left. You really can't afford to concede the next goal. And the fans want a better effort, especially with the captain coming back. As this is near the right side, down with Alec Martinez. He'll pinch. Ty Dellandrea will pick it up. Again, he was all the hero in Game 5 as his 2 third-period goals put everyone into a madness, as this is sent back in for Pietrangelo. Settle it down. Here's a nice-looking pass right down the middle. Chandler Stephenson drives the net, and he has to hold back as this goes to Pietrangelo. This bounces off of Stephenson's skate. And look out right now for the Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars. This looks one way as this is picked up.
That's got to be your most worrisome part of the Dallas Stars game right now, is the fact that they're getting free runs at the Dallas Stars goalie. That's 2 of them. One turned into a goal. They got lucky that second one did not.
Yeah, it's looked that way right now. I couldn't agree with you more, and I think this is a situation as the play is blown dead. You got to be very careful if you're Dallas, and you need to make sure the next 4 minutes don't get away from you here. There's a lot of game left.
Mentally, it's important to make your stand right now and do not let this thing get out of hand. The team will continue to fight, but it's 3-0. Just mentally, that's a difficult thing to look at, understanding you're down 3-2.
Great shot block the other way from one of the Stars. Very slow to get to the ice. Definitely could have saved a goal there. I think that was Lindell that got smoked. And this is sent back around. Hanley and Harley back out there. Mason Marchment still on the ice. I thought he might have been the one that had been scratched, but they put Freddie Olofsson in there for Jamie Benn because Marchment's been kind of silent. As this is picked up near the right side, Glendening trying to locate it. Here's Vegas again in the middle of the slider. Drop pass, and this shot goes high. And this is getting way out of hand here. This is in the zone too much against Dallas. And they'll try to poke check this thing mercifully, just try to get across the blue line. 13:50 left to go in the first. Here's another entry. Riley Smith will pick this up off the forehand. Races way near the right side dot. Good body contact by Roddick Fox on that fourth line. They were really good in Game 5. They're just trying to get this the other way right now. It's Kiravanta. We'll take a look at it. Pavelski also as well as Vegas can't hold the line off the offsides. This will be sent in deep, but this will go into the Vegas end as they're showing Peter DeBoer on ESPN. I think he's a little bit concerned at this point. And this is sent back around away from Keegan Kolesar and Rope Hintz and back down and across the red line. Vegas will get a chance to recollect again. They have the black pants with the white shirts and the gold and red piping on the sleeves. They're on the road at American Airlines Center. As this puck goes off the kick plate, Dallas able to get this off a back pass, but that was a little nonchalant. This is going to allow Vegas to be able to put this back in as Robertson will try to overskate it. And this will go back to Oettinger. There, Heiskanen look to get settled here right to left. That's what Dallas wants to do in this first period, but they're kind of just stuck in the neutral zone. As this tries to get flipped in by Suter. Robo gains the skate. Sagan fires it right on. And you know what? I like that shot right there. That's all business. That's what Dallas needs right now. I think Sagan made the right play as we're going to be going to break. So about 12:43.
I agree with that 100%. They need to get pucks on net. They need to reverse this zone disadvantage that is not in their favor at the moment. And if that's the way the game is going to go, it's not going to work out well for the team in green. They need to get the puck in the opposite zone, and they need to do it fast.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that side. I'm just going to go ahead and type in some of these notes so we get in the break. But when you look at some of these other stats that are already in front of you, again, I know they don't keep track of time on attack on some of these parts of the boards, but you can pretty much imagine at 12:43 in the first, roughly maybe even the first 5 minutes have been in Dallas's zone. And it's really got to reverse the fortunes quickly. William Carrier from Keegan Kolesar and Nick Waugh at 3:41 in the first period. So that's kind of started the same way it started in the series, but Dallas has been able to find their effort. I expect them to do so, and we will see.
So I think the most notable roster change for Dallas is that Marchment, number 27, is not in the lineup today. Is that correct? I think that would be the most logical change because he has seemed to struggle against this particular team.
That would have been the most logical change. You're correct, Dustin, on that side. They took out Freddie Olofsson and they kept in Marchment. I disagree with the Olofsson part because I thought during his first couple games with Benn out and Dodonov out that he's been really good. So they kept Marchment in. I think he's been pretty silent in this series.
I thought that would have been the most logical substitution there with Benn getting back into the lineup, but apparently not.
Yeah, there will be some decisions to be made and to be said on that side if things continue to go the way they are. Again, I know Twitter can be pretty a merciful place on that side, but you would think Mason Marchment wouldn't be in. But this is an opportunity now. The shots are 7-0 on that side as far as danger scoring chances, and this is picked up by Stephenson. Pietrangelo will have to flip this across the blue line side where this gets recollected. Heiskanen's going to get turned around, and Dallas will recollect this in their own end. Jamie Benn with a rolling puck, and this is going to get picked off by Vegas again. That's not a good play by Jamie as this is near the right side. Mark Stone's going to be able to walk right in, and that was saved by Oettinger, and now settled back down by Pietrangelo as Dallas just seems to not be ready to play this game right now, and this is not going to be able to continue. Benn able to give a skate now. He'll chip, and this is Sagan. It's a 2-on-2. Sagan spins, turns, and this one is blocked by Vegas and poked away partially, but allow Vegas still to get in the offensive zone. Picked up now by Riley Smith off the backhand near the left side red line, and Delandry has been there And this will drop back for Lindell and Yanni Hakanpää. They're your second-line defense now for Peter DeBoer's squad as Dellandrea turns on the Jets, try to finish a hit. Max Domi takes a look, but this will be an odd-man rush off of a 2-on-2 late drop. Right in the middle of the slot, and this is rebounded. They're going to say this was played at a high stick or out of the air, so no goal on that side. But again, a wide-open man in the middle of the slot, and that was a great save by Oettinger.
I'll tell you what, from the Stars side of things, you got to be disappointed with the open shots that have been available for Vegas. The other side of it is Oettinger's been superhuman so far to start, but again, you don't want to keep putting him in. Oh my goodness, and I'm watching the replay. What a save by Lindell. But Oettinger looks great, but they need to quit putting him in this situation time after time.
Are they giving Lindell clearing the puck over the glass to delay a game? I kind of think he had to do it. I know he didn't.
Oh my goodness, that was accidental. They're calling a penalty.
Yeah, he didn't mean.
That is not justified.
He didn't mean to do it, but I don't think he had a choice on that side because that would have went in the net if Lindell didn't make a play.
That was a split second reaction. How could you control it to make? I don't know that he was trying to hit it out of play. He was just trying to keep it from going in his net.
Yeah, the intent of it is it doesn't matter if it goes over, it's a penalty on that side. That's how the NHL rules it. And this is now for
they should look into calling more flopping penalties on the Vegas Golden Knights instead of there's a decent hockey play like that. The poor guy's just defending his net. Jesus.
It's sent back in around the inboards now, and this has been all Vegas, and now they have a power play. This is split back down with a minute 10. Again, delay games are not anything that's going to be scrutinized. If it happens, it happens. And on that side of it, Theodore will get this here for Karlsson, as this is wrapping on near the right side. McNabb gets a chance to recollect with Riley Smith, as Harley will try to get this around the inboards now, and this will be flipped down by Dallas, and it will touch the stick of Adin Hill. We're almost halfway through regulation in the first period, about 10:05. John on here within the play-by-play being joined by Dustin All. This is Game 6 in between the Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars. Golden Knights have been here before. They're still trying to finish this off, but Dallas won the last couple of games to keep their playoff hopes alive. And again, now they're still down a goal. As this is picked up near the right side blue line for Pietrangelo, Karlsson, they'll crisscross. And Alex will get this here for Riley Smith. His pass will bounce back, but this will work for Nick Waugh. Able to shovel this around the inboards. Ty Dellandrea trying to get this out. He can't. Barbashev, Riley Smith, center out front and scores! William Karlsson, 2-0 Vegas.
Not to be one to be harping on technicalities, and the Stars are down 2-0, and they're going to have to dig their way out of it. If they're going to win, they'll earn it in the third regardless. But man, it really looked like that was an offsides on Vegas. On the puck, they got in the zone and stayed in the zone that eventually turned into a goal.
I can tell you this, Dustin, on this side, everybody's got their iPads. If Dallas sees it quickly before the puck drop, they can call it and get this whole thing reversed. So everybody's got good coaching staffs, but nonetheless, when we talk about the play on the ice, this has been one-sided. William Karlsson is 9th in the playoffs. It's a franchise record for VGK. It's only in their 6 years, and Oettinger will send this back because Pavelski got taken down, and there will be some pushing and shoving. Now, I imagine with the score line the way it is, I think Dallas is going to want to mix this up. Harley is in the mix with White Cloud and Haig. 9:27 left the first. We get a stoppage.
Well, in a territory that we've been in before, Oettinger has to feel like if he gives up one more goal, he could get pulled. I'm just telling you right now, I think he has all the right if that coach tries to pull him at this point to tell him to get bent, essentially. He deserves to stay in there regardless of what happens right now. None of those goals were his fault. I don't see any reason to pull your number one goalie at this point. If they give up another goal, and the coach has pretty much said that's been the limit. You give up 3 and you're out. That's what's happened recently. So let's see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If Oettinger does have anything happen, I think he's going to have a lot to say to the people that are in front of him right now for the Dallas Stars. They need to get this going the other way because Oettinger, honestly, I'm not blaming him for either one of those goals. It probably could even be worse at this point if it wasn't for Jake.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The Stars are getting outplayed on the ice right now, and the goalie's just getting assaulted, essentially. It's a one-way show. Just kind of expected, Vegas probably thought they had this thing wrapped up when they went up 3-0 after the Jamie Benn penalty. They probably did not think they were going to be even having to deal with a game 6. Now they are. So they're probably playing this with more ferocity than they would play a game 7 if it gets there, because they don't want to let it get to that point. Right? So you expected that. My point is, don't embarrass your goalies. It's not his fault. Those goals that happen, you cannot. I would put no blame on him for either one of those goals.
Absolutely not.
So I just think that's a bad message. You stick with that guy. And if he gives up 7, I wouldn't pull him. He's been their best goalie all year. He's earned the right to play in the biggest game of the year and finish it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, look, we'll be honest with you and tell you Scott Wedgwood's a really good backup, but Scott Wedgwood's not the reason why Dallas is in this position. So I think you got to go with Jake Oettinger nonetheless, no matter what happens.
Right. If you had substitutions available for defense, then that's something to explore. The goalie is not the issue.
Right. Yes. No, I mean, as much as this might stink on one side, we're just telling you exactly what we see right now, and this has got to change. I mean, I understand you're paying about $900, $800 a ticket at this point in Dallas for some of these things, and come on.
Well, I would say it's to be expected, though. I really thought Vegas would come out with their best, most focused effort right now to not let a game go to Game 7. So if the Stars can now maybe get one back, get it 2-1 by the intermission.
Right.
You just want to make it a fight and let it get to the end, and maybe Vegas spends so much energy, at the beginning of the game. The Stars are going to have a little bit more in the tank at the end, but we'll see. Right now, it's huge, though. They can't get down 3-0. That's making things a little bit too insurmountable.
You want to talk about a stat that was just shown that speaks to what we're talking about: 10 slot shot opportunities to nothing for Vegas. You can't expect Oettinger to save everything. And again, those are the 2 goals against were all in the slot. As this is sent in now for Nick Waugh, and that's in between the face-off circles in the danger area for those that are wondering at home or listening following along. As Nick Waugh will send this back around the end boards. There's going to be a lot of chip and chase to himself, and Amadio would have been wide open near the right side dot as Dallas just needs to get this puck and start moving the other way. The shot attempts read 23-6 with 8:35 left to go in the first, as this one is dumped in here for Adin Hill. We talked about Adin Hill a couple times when Dustin and I have been doing these games. It's about getting him tested. Here's Eichel. Oh, backhand, power move. Good save by Oettinger. He'll play it in amongst his knees rather than hold it. I don't know if that was the right decision, as this is flipped in near the right side dot and chipped in around McNabb. It's Jonathan Marchessault off the half spin, centered out in front. He couldn't find Barbashev. 4:33 as far as offensive zone time to 57 seconds for Dallas as well. Again, if you can get out of this first period just down 2 and maybe get a goal, as Dustin was saying, I think that's exactly what you have to take at this point with 7:55 left to go here in Game 6 in the first, as this is fired right on, and this is blocked before it ever got to Adin Hill. Shea Theodore got a piece of it. Spin around now, tied to Landria. He'll put this near the right side dot, and here's a chase for the puck for Max Domi near the right side dot, but this will fall back to Vegas. Dallas Stars had 2 straight comeback wins. That was not their specialty as far as the playoffs in the regular season, but they did it against their back against the wall a couple times against Vegas, and this is a really good squad, no doubt about it, but so is Dallas, as this is put around the right side dot. Hanley will try to get this, but this is in between a bunch of escape lanes. And Vegas now with the captain seeing Mark Stone will flip it. This will touch the goal stick of Jake Oettinger near the right side dot. It'll be a rush the other way, but it'll be short-lived, as Vegas will put this around the horn. This will go back and across the red line. Here's a flip pass, but it doesn't find anybody other than Alex Pietrangelo. Will gain the red line as Oettinger will take a look at it. Will stand up near the left side post and picked up off the backhand by Marchman and then dumped in by Vegas. 6:48 left to go in the first. Puck goes out of play. We get a stoppage.
Well, in the last game, I continued to point out the shot total because I do think that gives an indication to who's bossing the game. And right now it's 13-4 Vegas. It's obvious that they're bossing this game right now.
Yeah, the chances in the slot from everything else that we talked about, Oettinger's had to stand on his head. And again, I'll throw this out there honestly, as you said, I think this could be worse than 2-0 if not for Jake Oettinger. He's made some brilliant saves, but this has got to go the other way. It's showing Jack Eichel 9 scoring chances in the series of 18 shots. Doesn't have a goal, but he's got a lot of points. His defense has been good. You don't always have to get on the goal sheet. As this is sent back here for Hintz. He's going to have to win this draw. 18 points in the playoffs, still leads the team, and that's on a goalless streak. And this is sent around for Riley Smith after VGK wins the draw. And now Smith will get this back to the decors. They'll wrap this around the inboards. Just smash it around the kick plate. And Yanni Hakanpää is also out there as well. He's trying to locate it for the victory green, and this will bounce in off the referee and then be sent back down deep. 6:20 left to go in the first. Joining with in the play-by-play, being joined by Dustin Wallace's Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. Vegas wins today. It's done. And we're going to go to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals on Saturday against the Florida Panthers. They're getting a very long layoff. As this is sent in now, but it goes too far for Jamie Benn. Keegan Kolesar will make a bounce pass. Drop back to Kolesar. Perfect play. And that is a goal. That is an unstoppable move, a perfect pass. And now, what do you do here with 6 minutes left to go in the first? It's 3-0.
So I think, I don't know if the question I asked a few minutes ago, and with this scenario possibly at play, down 3-0 for your goalie. If you do, that's a disservice to your goalies. Again, I'm not putting the blame on him. Skaters are having a free run at the net.
Yes, they are.
You can't put that on him. I just think that bails out your actual roster that's allowing those plays to happen. So hopefully they stick with Oettinger. Hopefully they get to the intermission and figure something out because they are getting outclassed and outplayed right now.
That was a bank pass in off the window. Kolesar was the one that banked it. He was on the defensive side when he banked it, then had a free run to the net to finish. That tells you exactly what's going on for Dallas. That is absolutely unacceptable. And now this will be Eichel the other way. Off the toe drag. He'll drop it in for Marchessault. He gets a chance to pick this back up in between 3 stars. And this is sent back here for Shea Theodore.
During the intermission, somebody could get Eichel into safety protocols. This thing could swing the other way. I've been calling that for quite some time.
You've been calling that, but the way this game's going, my friend, I think there's going to be multiple people that need to go into protocol here.
That may not be enough.
Dellandrea gets blasted. 2-on-1. And Dallas shot gets blocked. Hopefully Ty Dellandrea is okay. As this is sent around the inboards now, and Hanley will get a piece of it as Dallas still works behind the net. It's Thomas Harley. We'll get this near the right side dot. This is a monumental chance for Dallas. They got to get something. As this is near the right side dot, so Dellandrea does pop back up. He got sandblasted near the left side boards. Harley, his shot gets blocked by Hill. And near the right side, Dallas has it. They'll continue to cycle. Hanley to Harley. They'll move this near the right side dot. Kind of looks like a small power play here. Kiravanta sitting out front for Dellandrea. His shot bounces up in the air. Almost got his own rebound. As this is picked back up by Harley. Put around the inboards now. Dallas has a little bit of life here. Harley.
It would be so enormous if Dallas could get one back before the intermission. Just such a mental hurdle to see 3-1 instead of 3-0.
Harley's still trying to work with this right now. There's just a bunch of tired Golden Knights that have been out here about a minute and a half as Dallas continues to cycle. Mark Stone tries to get it out. He flubs on it. They will get across the red line now. Vegas is going to have to rush to the bench as they're exhausted. And this will be sent back in. That was the first really pressure for Dallas in this entire game. Took about 3:45 left to go in the first. As this is picked up now, Stone with a sequence of moves. Karlsson between his legs. And this one will go to Riley Smith. Sent back around for William Karlsson. Again, he's feeling himself after getting his 9th playoff goal of the season. And this is sent back around. That's the biggest franchise record. This is wrapped around the inboards off a rolling puck. Dallas with Suter. This will bounce back to him near the right side dot. And then across the red line, gain the entry. As Karlsson gets a little bit of a late shove, but we still play on. It's Riley Smith and across the red line. And this will be flipped in. And then it's going to be Howden still trying to get some work alongside Amadio to pry this puck loose, but this will be with Robe Hintz. 24 to get this here to Robo. and Robo will chip and chase. He's going to try to ink his way around the right side red line, but he'll just peel back. The rest of his reinforcements were on a change. He was by himself. 15-4 on the shot board in favor of Vegas. Those are the shots on goal. The shot attempts are very lopsided on that end. As this is Marchment. Gets blocked. No shots in the last 8 minutes. All those ones have been blocked. This is picked up near the right side dot. That's Lindell. It hops in off his skate near the left side dot. Wrapped around the end boards now. Heiskanen. Lindell. Get this across Radek Foxa. This is fired on. I'm pretty sure that was a shot on goal. This goes up the left pad of Aiden Hill. It makes the blocker save as this is wrapped back around. As Lindell's going to pinch against Alex Pietrangelo. Try to get something going here as the first period is fast approaching its end. About 2:05 left to go in the first. And the play is going to get blown dead. There wasn't enough puck movement near the right side red line, and the ref decided to kill the play. 2:05 in the first.
Well, quite the disappointing begin to the game for Dallas. But accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. You know, they're going to face some adversity at some point, so let's see what they have in the tank.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, realistically, let's look at it. Even on the side of the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat, Dallas Stars, and Vegas, both series down 3-0. You can't realistically expect all that stuff to happen. I mean, hell, and some of this stuff that we've done, you flat out told me in honesty you were expecting a funeral a couple of games ago, but Dallas has continued to fight, and we knew, as you said, you called it perfectly. This is a very desperate Vegas team, and they're finally putting an effort on that, quite frankly, I think is better than any of the games that they've played in this series so far.
Yeah, just one thing I would say from watching hockey over the years, especially in the playoffs, with in regards to the intensity that's on display during the hockey playoffs, you can see that change from period to period. So the Stars are just killed right now. They look like a minor league team playing against a world-class team right now. That could change. They could figure something out during the intermission and come out with the proper intensity, and that shot total could reverse. And we could all be tied up going into the third. That's a possibility, but at this point, until you see that change start to happen, Vegas just seems like they're not going to let the Stars have an opportunity to get this win today.
And I don't want to discredit anything that Vegas is doing, but what my four eyes are telling me that I see is Dallas is just giving them too much space to allow them to wheel and deal more so than what Vegas is doing. You got to cover the middle of the ice. You got to cover the slot. You got to cover the danger areas. You got to forecheck. You got to shoot. You got to skate. I'm not seeing any of that right now. And that kind of falls on.
I wonder if the lineup change maybe somehow to a detriment. They seem to be better without number 14. Maybe his style of play is not really blending well with the team. I don't know. We'll see. It's a small sample. But right now, it's hard to put your finger on exactly why they look so outmatched compared to the last one.
This one bounces out in front of Aiden Hill. He makes a save. That was something that we talked about going in. I threw that out as a casual question. I think you and we talked about it. We kind of laughed it off, but now you're looking at it and you're thinking maybe because the way the lineup was constructed and what they were doing, it just looked like a completely rejuvenated Dallas team, and now they're back to what they were showing you as this is sent in now for Dallas. And they'll start again. They did get a couple shots in on Aiden Hill. Tyler Seguin, he's definitely got to get going. He does not have a point in this series, and they need him as this is picked right up off the right side boards. Harley will get this here for Caravanta, and they'll fire it in. Got about a minute left to go here in regulation of the first. Runner with you alongside Dustin Hall. It's a 3-0 lead for Vegas in the first period. The one thing for Dallas we can say is there's tons of time left. But this second period's got to at least be cut in half, and Dallas probably needs to get a couple goals in that middle stanza. As this is sent back around, and Shea Theodore will race for it. This will touch the stick of Aiden Hill, and Shea's got it now. As they'll pick it up here on the right side dot. Here's a floating puck. Stone off the 2-on-2. This is dropped from Eichel. Stone walks in, fires. Good save by Oettinger with the right pad. As this is a fluttering puck across the Dallas logo. As you take a look at Jake Oettinger, again, his demeanor has not changed. on that side. I don't think he's ever flapped on that end. But again, this team needs to get their head out of the you-know-what. This is sent in now. Near the right side dot. Dallas will flip this in for Lindell, and now Heiskanen will flip this back around for Yanni Hakanpää. And this is going to be as silent as you will hear the building. The end of the first period, 3-0, and there's boos at American Airlines Center, and I think for good reason here.
There are, but that can change around very quickly. First of all, everybody's about to go grab like at least 2 Bud Lights, get a little bit energized. If the team can come out and get an early goal, the crowd will be into it. But I'll tell you what, right now, Vegas is at 16 shots on goal. If Dallas cannot keep them at 30 or less by the end of the game,
yeah,
I just don't think they're going to be able to come back. They're going to need to really get stingy on defense. And honestly, I'm not sure what happened. It looked like they didn't have a morning skate or any type of practice or preparation. There were just open skaters on the Vegas side.
yes.
Continuously in that period. So something's got to tighten up. They're at 16 shots right now. If that shot total gets to, it's on pace to be, in the 50s. But if it gets at 35 or better, the Stars have no chance. If somehow they tighten it up, then the in shot total was 29 for Vegas. That'll mean the Stars will figure something out and they're dictating the play. But that remains to be seen. You don't really see anything that would indicate that that's going to happen after that first period.
No, I'm going to let all of your thoughts speak for themselves because I really don't have anything to add to that. The only thing I would say, and again, I'm not meaning this literally, but I'm throwing it out there because I bet some people wonder what the motivation level is. Well, the motivation level is to go to a Stanley Cup final and win the cup. I mean, there isn't anything left for Dallas to do other than take care of their own business. They know what's in front of them. I know these players want it. But Vegas, they've had this series in cruise control until Dallas took a couple of games. Again, it was without Jimmy Benn after the very early suspension on the Game 3 side. Dallas looked really good. Some of these young guns were flying all over the place, and I'm sure Bruce Cassidy on the other end for Vegas said, hey, look, you got to shut down some of Dallas's time and space. It's getting a little too friggin' easy. And I think now Vegas has kind of made sure they need to put their foot down because, as Dustin said, you don't want to go back to Game 7 in T-Mobile where anything can happen.
And to me, the one player that could come out like Mel Gibson and Braveheart or Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards,
right?
When you're coming out there and you're throwing your sword down, saying I'm going to be the decisive factor here. Number 14 kind of owes his team one, I think. He put them in a difficult situation. I'm pretty sure he didn't think he would even be eligible to play another game. But it's available. It's there right now. It's time to pay the bill. They got you there. If something is going to happen where Dallas somehow gets to Game 7, watch out for number 14 coming through with some decisive plays here.
Yeah, I think you said it best on that. And I saw some of the other comments from Jamie Benn verbatim. He's honestly open season, as you said, Dustin. He didn't expect this to happen, but he's very thankful for his team, and he wants to go ahead and pay it forward. Well, yeah, now's the time. The bills are due. It's the first of the month on this side. Let's get it going here.
That check is there. It's at your table. You're the only one that can sign it and get us out of it. Right? Yeah. Otherwise, we're all doing dishes trying to pay these bills later.
Right. I wish we had better news as far as I know sometimes I've been on the other end where you have games like these, but I mean, hey, this is how it works sometimes. We will see here in the second intermission. I'm going to take a quick flip over. I'm not going to miss any of the game because this will be the coverage assignment. If we do get to Wednesday, it'll be Game 7 as well. But since I got all my other notes taken care of on this end, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at basketball score, and we will give you updates between the Heat and the Celtics.
I do have that on watch as well, so I'm observing that game.
I know I couldn't cover that because I did want to cover this game with Dustin Hall. Alec Nava is covering that for us on the Twitter Spaces side. One of my friends on that end does a lot of these games. I was going to ask him if everything wasn't all on the same day, but I made sure he didn't miss a game 7. As far as the stats are concerned, Butler with 4, Caleb Martin with 4. Again, we're almost at the end of the first quarter. It's 2:34. Miami's got a 15-11 lead. And early here, Jaylen Brown, 3 of 7, has got 6. But really nothing to speak of yet.
I think we had talked about it previously. What are your thoughts on the outcome of this game 7?
I think from where we talked about, I think Miami's got to finish this off. I was kind of leaning in the sense of a reverse sweep that Boston would come all the way back. But, I mean, you're up 3-0. You don't want to be the only team in the NBA that it's ever happened against. What more motivation do you need if you're Miami? Get it done.
Do we know what Jimmy Butler had? Is he dealing with any injury issues? It seems like his performance has dropped in the last few games. Is Boston just doing a really good job at beating him up, or is he hobbled from carrying his team through the playoffs at this point?
That's a very good question. I know we don't get a lot of that stuff this time of year, but what it seems like this, and if I had to call on it, again, I've been to cover a lot of the hockey side, but I would say that Boston's trying to key in defense a little bit more because in the regular season they were a really good defensive team, were they not? They just struggled the first 3 games in this series.
Yeah, but Jimmy was killing everybody.
Yeah, he was.
He torched every team in front of him. Giannis, I think, been covering one of the, I think 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Like, he seemed to be unguardable, and now he's, putting up 3 for 17 performances. And I'm just wondering, is that great defense, or is that just wear and tear?
I wouldn't disagree with you and say it's got to be some wear and tear. I mean, you have multiple 7-game series and things like that. You're probably beat up a little bit. Nobody's healthy this time of year. But again, you're not expecting to drop 45, 50 points against Giannis and some of these other players all the time either, as good as Jimmy Butler is. He was been superhuman.
Man, when he did that against Milwaukee, literally he's just yelling to everyone after he pretty much ends the series. This is mine, yes.
Yeah.
This is mine. Just straight up, just alpha, just saying, this is mine. I'm taking this to now. Yeah, it just makes me think he's probably got some injury that he's dealing with that we don't know about. Tatum's nice defensively, but I don't think he's, on that level to, shut down somebody that was that good in his most previous series.
I wouldn't disagree with you. You're not going to get much argument from me on that side. Caleb Martin just knocked down a 3 from the right wing in transition. Again, Miami in this Game 6 side, they had Duncan Robinson wide open, the Michigan man, a couple times. He just point-blank missed some open threes that could have already had Miami win Game 6. And they're going to need some of their other role players to step up. I know Shaq always calls them the others, but that's what Miami can bring you with some of the outside chances. A bunch of undrafted, hardworking players. I don't know where Miami continues to find all of them, but I will say this. Someone needs to go through their scouting department and try to mimic what the Heat do because they seem to get it right.
They're probably the most well-run NBA organization, I would think. Their coach is probably the best coach. And as far as accruing talent, they seem to do a pretty good job at that. And I would say similar to what the New England Patriots have as far as a way that people understand they have to do things when they play for a certain organization. It seems like Miami may have that in place as well, where when you agree to sign to play for that team, you agree to play a certain way and contribute on defense.
Yeah. No, that's certainly in the blueprint and the DNA. You still got Eric Spoelstra there from all the time. Hell, you still got Pat Riley there.
I think he's just like the old mob boss. He just sits down with them and kind of explains things. Everybody's like super worried about the outcome if they don't respond correctly. And they're just like, yes, sir, I'll just do it. Yeah.
I think that's a great call by you because he honestly dresses like a mob boss, like Godfather.
He does. If you don't agree to these terms, good luck to you if you go to my local pasta shop. Good luck.
So it's 22-15 as a score. I'm going to flip back over now to our featured coverage. Let's give everybody a live update for a little bit. 3-0 Vegas Golden Knights over the Dallas Stars. We'll give you the goal scoring update for those that are just joining on the YouTube side. Thank you. Welcome on that side. It was William Carrier with his second from Keegan Kolsar, William Karlsson with his 8th from the power play from Nick Waugh and Riley Smith, and then Kolsar one more time. It was a bank self-play from the defensive side. He's able to get into the offensive zone and transition wide open down the middle from Carrier and Martinez. It's 3-0 Golden Knights. When we get into the stats in particular, it sounds like this. The shots on goal are 16-7. That does not even speak about shot attempts. The hits are 20-8, and the faceoffs are 6-4, all in favor of Vegas as they're trying to get to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That will be on Saturday, June 3rd, about 8:15 Eastern. Those will all be 8:15 puck drops Eastern time. If we do get to a Game 7 in this series, it will shift to 9:15 Eastern on Wednesday. So it'll be a really late game for Game 7 as you go back to T-Mobile in Vegas should we get there. As far as Friday, I will have a Stanley Cup preview show. That'll be about 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll break it all down on both sides, and Cooper Hopkins and I will take you away through most of it. I will miss Game 4 because I have to cover I have to go to my fiance's sister's wedding on that side, so I'll miss Game 4. So as long as it doesn't end in a sweep, I will have Stanley Cup coverage for you. So I'm hoping no sweep in the Stanley Cup Finals.
You know, for me right now, this time, right this second, these minutes right now, that's what a big-name head coach is paid a large salary for. Right? So you're not paid for the duration of the season all the time. A roster's going to get you to where
Sure.
you know you can be impactful as a coach and make strategic, give your squad a strategic advantage. And right now is that time. You obviously got outplayed that first period. This is where a high-quality coach can look at it and say, we're going to change this, we're going to change this, you're on this line, you're on this line, and this is how we're going to take care of this, even this thing up. If something doesn't happen to me, that's where, you know, a high-quality coach can make a decisive difference. So we'll see if we see anything different in the next period.
I want to speak to your point on that really quickly because over the last couple of years, I know Jim Nill was continuing to remake the roster because again, when you draft all those guys in 2017 between Robertson, Oettinger, and Heiskanen, that's certainly how you turn your franchise around. So he was in the mix of doing all that, but in before that was Rick Bowness, longtime coach, and now he's on the Winnipeg Jets. So Bowness was brought in for defense, and now you got Peter DeBoer. Peter DeBoer was brought in for offense because now you got Heiskanen and some of those other guys that can take care of it. Peter DeBoer is known for getting your team close, but he's never known for X's and O's and getting your team over the edge, just improving their offense. So in his first year, I don't expect any changes to be made. But down the line, as the Stars continue to build their team, I wonder if he's going to be the guy behind the bench to get them there.
Boy, I disagree. If I was the owner, I'd be disappointed with his erratic decisions as far as pulling Oettinger throughout the playoffs. It just seemed like some really just knee-jerk reactions. Where I think, you know, my epitome of a coach is Tom Landry. Somebody like that that's always calm, cool, collected, never, you know, overreacting, making calm decisions. That just looked very reactionary to me. And I don't think it sends a good message to the team when they're in the middle of adversity and then you do something like that and everybody's kind of like, you know, are you serious? You're pulling our guy. He was obviously our best option here. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out of here. I don't know what the man's doing these days, but well, I'd love to see old Ken Hitchcock back behind the bench with this group of players.
Kenny's still looking for a team. I don't know if he still wants to do it anymore, but Ken Hitchcock was one of the glory days for the Dallas Stars. So, again, I always liked him. I know he was an old school, no-nonsense type of guy.
He is. He turned Mike Modano into a two-way player.
Yes.
It made a huge difference. I don't think the Stars get the cup that they did. Honestly, without him being behind the bench, but he seems to be of the Bill Parcells ilk.
Yes, I like that.
His run is about a 5-year run, and at that point, everybody's so pissed off at him that he's got to go. During that time, he will have everybody like a military camp. Everybody will have everything detailed. There will be no nonsense. Everybody will be carrying out their specific plan. After that, though, people were so annoyed with him. They're like, oh, my God, shoot me or get rid of this guy.
And to your point, and again, we'll bring it up to a facsimile of like the last decade. Think about the LA Kings when they came from a 3-0 deficit to win the Cup against the Devils, and then they did it again after that. That was Daryl Sutter behind the bench. He won a couple. He burns out like that too. He just lost his job in the Calgary Flames because those same type of deals, players just don't want to play for that type of system when he's much of a drill sergeant all the time. And yeah, you can get some things done, but as you said, Dustin, the candle burns on both ends. That usually doesn't last very long.
It's funny how that works. They appreciate the success that happens, but then they forget to attribute the success for the disciplinary figure that was in place to get them in place to have that success. Everybody gets glory, and then they're saying, well, I want to have glory, and I want to be on a beach every week as well. You know?
It doesn't come without hard work and doing everything that you have to do, and that's a day-to-day in anything, even in a job or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, in life in general. I wish I could do that. I wish I could be like, I don't like this boss anymore. I'm gonna vote him out of here.
Yeah,
I appreciate you setting up a 401k for me. I have nice insurance, got money in the bank, but now honestly I don't like you anymore, so I would like you to leave now.
Yeah, everything is now kind of feels like American Idol. It doesn't work that way anymore.
I wish it did though, damn. I wish I could pull that off, but I can't.
Well, we have something to make you feel better when I look across the scoreboard side. The Rangers are going to absolutely probably slap the Tigers in a 3-game series. They won 5-0. Rangers are continuing to dominate Major League Baseball right now, scoring runs. They look good all year.
Hey, buddy, I called that one a mile away. Not call myself the sports prophet or anything like that.
We both said that with the offense, but I was surprised that
you
could.
As soon as they put a roof on that stadium, the pitchers shall come. What happened? Roof, pitchers coming. Listen, that Texas is a baseball state as much as it is a football state. Now that people are showing up, there's going to be revenue available to pay a very quality roster. So
yeah.
Not only are they good right now, don't expect it to go away anytime soon.
I
will
wouldn't.
be good in perpetuity now that people can watch baseball in a nice 72-degree climate.
Yeah, there's something to be said when you're going out there in 110-degree heat and you're also a starting pitcher trying to get all that stuff done. That is absolute madness. And now when you think about it as well, not only do you have all that, you also got Bruce Bochy in behind the bench. I always thought he was one of the best when they won multiple World Series with the San Francisco Giants. So I think that's a good team that is not going anywhere anytime soon. But boy, can they mash the baseball.
Like me, and you go to the game and you get about 4 beers in, and you feel like you may pass away due to heat stroke.
That's true. That's true.
Thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a desert oasis trying to look for water. That's how hot it is over there. I mean, you live it every day in Texas, so I can't imagine it stepping outside and melting away, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I live in Texas, either inside an air conditioning or in water, sir.
That's right.
Believe it or not, I have some a semblance of intelligence. Believe it or not, sometimes things don't indicate that, but I'm smart enough not to be out there dying.
Well, I know we get a chance to look at some of these highlights, but if I replicate it for the radio side, for those that are listening, all I can tell you right now, in all honesty, is blown coverages. And that is what's happening right now. They're just allowed to wheel and deal. Dustin and I talked about it. Things have got to change. Looking at the shot board, you don't want any of the shots in the circles to go right in between the face-off circles. Those are all of Vegas's shots right now. So Oettinger has certainly had his work cut out for him. And I think he's done well, all things considered. Dallas has got to help him out a little bit. They got 40 minutes to do so. I think they need to at least cut this deficit by a couple. I know that sounds like a lot, but I'm going to say all the way. You need to turn the second period right around.
And back to my initial intermission comments, I don't think it's a lack of emotion from Dallas. You can't tell me they're not just amped up and understanding what game they're in right now, base game of the year. Okay?
Yeah.
So something happened strategically where they were out of place. So that's my point. That's the time where the coach makes an impact. That's what you get paid for. You should be able to look at that game and say, okay, we're going to do this differently to avoid this happening again.
We'll see if they can do so, because honestly, I don't disagree with your point. I think anyone that does is out to lunch on that side. As this is sent in now, I see a lot of empty seats. I hope people are just getting back from the concession stands, because if you leave right now, I'd be pretty disappointed in all nonetheless. As this is sent back now for Nick Waugh. As
Listen,
Vegas,
after that first period, everybody grabbed an extra beer. Trust me.
I'm thinking so. As Rope Hintz near the right side, this is knocked away, and Keegan Kolstar, Miro Heiskanen now. Joe Pavelski. Again, we know what the 38-year-old can do if he can activate the superhuman mode. He'll drop pass, give back. Pavelski will fire it on. This goes at the stomach of Hill. Petrangelo can't find it, but Alec Martinez does. And that was a good design for Dallas. That was probably their best shot of the game right now. When 19:05 left to go on the second, as Pavelski will take a seat on that first line. And this is dumped back in. Again, all Dallas needs to do is just get back to the game plan that they've shown that they've known can work over 4 and 5. As it's Eichel near the right side red line. He'll flip it in, but this is intercepted by Dallas. And now Vegas will do the same. And across the neutral zone, they'll shovel this in off the backhand. 24 giveaways in Game 5 for Vegas. And again, Bruce Cassidy called out his team as that shot got saved. He said he wouldn't win a game against Arizona Coyotes if he gave away the puck 24 times, let alone Dallas. So again, they had some things to fix in Vegas. As this is sent back around. Picked up off the backhand. Howden tried to locate it, and Dallas will get it, but this goes in off the referee. Now Braden McNabb will touch this one back here for Vegas as he tries to send this around the inboards. Tyler Seguin will finish a check. Aiden Hill will have to quickly play it as Jamie Benn trying to get around Howden now. As this bounces in between a couple of skate blades. Vegas having some trouble with it, and this will go to Jake Oettinger, and it'll be iced against Vegas, so they cannot change.
By the way, for anybody trying to keep up to date with the basketball game, looks like Boston's up 30-18, and they have the ball right now with 8:40 to go in the second.
So they've went on one heck of a run over the last 6 minutes since we've checked in.
Yeah, I didn't see how that one happened because I watched the hockey game, but that is the score right now. And Miami just hit a tree. Now back to what's important, the national hockey.
Well, we can appreciate that right now because we got Dustin's team in it, but I understand we'll keep you up to date on both sides because it's a very busy night on that end. And then we will be going day to day on that end in between both finals. They'll be split a day apart as Denver Nuggets are still waiting for a team to play. You kind of wonder, they've had a long layoff. The Florida Panthers have had a long layoff for hockey. Who does that favor? I think I would take the rest this time of year, Dustin. What say you?
You know what? All I'm thinking right now is where's number 14? You should be coming in here, thumping that thing, and getting something done here.
I agree with you on that end.
Where are you at, Mr. Braveheart?
Heiskanen fires. This one goes up the right side of the boards, and Rope Hintz will take a look at it. Heiskanen's bomb was at 94 miles an hour. As this is trying to be kept in by the Victory Green near the right side. Pavelski got turned around. And this will be an opportunity now for Dallas to pick this one back up. As this is near the left side boards, Michael Amadio can't locate it. Pavelski will get it. Off the backhand, get this into the neutral zone and dump it in. Dallas going to be going left to right in the second period. And the Victory Green with the black pants and the black and green striping on the pant legs. And Vegas in the road whites with the black pants and the gold and red striping. As this is in the offensive end of the Golden Knights. They'll put this around the inboards. Heiskanen into the traffic, bounces out right out in front. And that shot goes wide for Kiviranta. They're going to want this play blown dead, and they'll get it, does Vegas.
Absolutely, Joe. That is correct. I'm drinking a Celsius energy drink, watermelon flavor. It's advertised as being a fat-burning energy drink. 0 sugar, similar to Red Bull. Available at your local Walmart for $1.80.
Are you suggesting that all the Dallas players need some energy drinks right now? Because I can go with the analogy.
No, I'm just hoping to get some type of
endorsements.
Trying to get some passive income.
Hey.
But you kind of just blew my cover, so. I mean, that's what I was going for, but now you added me, so appreciate that. Good teamwork, Chico.
Well, I mean, we got to do what we can do right now on this broadcast. And Aiden Hill's getting some repairs on his mask. He is going to be checking back in.
Maybe he was going into protocols. Thought I saw him skating off there.
Normally, I know we went with that joke, and I agree with you, but right now, we needed to get more work on Aiden Hill regardless of who's in net right now. He hasn't had anything to do.
I just think if you send half the Vegas team in the protocols, then we just, be safe about it, find out what happens. Keep her, safety first.
Heiskanen now enter on the window now for Tyler Seguin. Seguin will make a drop pass, and this will be picked up here by Miro. Spun in by Wyatt Johnson. Seguin, get this back to the D. Walk the blue line and fire it right on. This goes up the left side red line of the boards. And this is flipped down by Vegas. Again, Vegas right now, from the way that this is going, I don't think they have any complaints. They're just trying to make sure they don't make any mistakes. They already got a substantial lead. Dallas is the one that's got the press as this one goes up into the crowd.
I would say this, to my point, as far as if Dallas can get this into extra time or even win in regular time, that shot total for Vegas cannot go over 30. Right now, it's staying at 16. That means they've had 0 shots on net 4 minutes into the second. So keep it that way, keep trending upwards, and you have a shot. That shot total gets up in the 35 range. I don't think there's any way out for Dallas.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just wondering how much Vegas is going to press at this point is the only thing that I'm thinking. But we'll see what Bruce Cassidy's squad wants to do. As this is sent back around the inboards now, Oettinger will play it, although it is in a little bit of trouble in behind the net. And this will be flipped back around for Kiviranta. This will take a long flip. This will bounce off of one of the Dallas Stars in Max Domi. And a delayed penalty call against the Vegas Golden Knights. So this might open the window here for the Dallas Stars, and we'll see who it's going to be on.
There you go. And to my point, that's sometimes all you need. And I think it's a big mistake for Vegas. If they go into a prevent defense, because here's what happens: when the puck's in your zone, even though you may be a superior team,
right?
And at some point those penalties happen if you're constantly defending your zone. And then that's how you can let Dallas back into this game. And it's Eichel. There he is. He's finally in protocols. There we go.
Yeah, he's in a protocol for 2 minutes or less on that. So with a high stick to the face, he's going to go to the box.
Take him out the back door. Get him out of there.
Well, the one thing, if you're Dallas, again, you take a power play however you can get it. You're taking Eichel off the ice, who's one of the better defenders on Vegas as well, as far as the forwards are concerned.
Yeah, as far as a complete hockey player, as far as a forward position, he seems to be one of the more better all-around players that I've seen.
Jamie Benn gets kicked out of the face-off circle. The Rope Hintz, he can definitely get the job done. This is just picked up near the right side boards. It's contested. Benn will get this to Robo, but they're too far from the blue line side. So it's 4 forwards, 1 defense per usual. That's usually how it's run, and Robertson will run the D-line side. As this is sent back now, Benn will try to finish a hit. He's able to stay on his feet, and now this will be picked up near for Hintz. Robertson set up for Heiskanen, and here comes the ripper of a 1T, and that was a great block by Alex Pietrangelo as he gets this one back down the ice. Now Heiskanen will recollect. Here's a flipping pass intended for Benn, and a cross-check was not called against Vegas against Joe Pavelski. He picked that one up. He's got the puck now in between the high slot. It's Benn. He lets one go, and this goes up in the netting and outplay. It's the first time that we get a chance to call Jamie Benn's name, and it was Rope Hintz, the one that set it up there, able to walk right in the left side dot and get a good shot on off of the blocker of Hill. That's a really good shot there for 14. I mean, he aimed it right where he wanted to get to it. Hill was just right there. We need to see more of that. It's going to be an offensive zone draw here for the Stars. And now Wyatt Johnston. Get this here from Heiskanen. Give back. Wyatt Johnston to the traffic. Firing. A chance for Marchessault trying to poke away at it somehow. That doesn't cross the line. I'm not sure how that one didn't cross. Again, everybody's standing here at American Airlines Center, and I'm still in amazement to wonder how it didn't go in. Johnston put this around the inboards. Domi. Heiskanen back to Domi. Walking near the right side down. Here's a bullet of a pass. Johnston will have to pick it up off the kick plate and send it in the middle, but this will go right to William Karlsson, who will just slowly shovel it and take his change for VGK. 14:30 left to go in the second. John on here with you alongside Dustin Hall between play-by-play and call respectively as we're taking in Game 6 Mason Marchessault, will stick and drag this, put this around the inboards, and this will go all the way back down the ice where Jake Oettinger will have to play it. So Dallas had a couple chances on their power play, looked pretty good. I thought Mason Marchessault was on the doorstep. I'm waiting to see a replay of it. Rope Hintz now for Robertson near the right side face-off dot. He'll spin, play it off the window now for Harley. Harley now for Suter. As you got two defensemen on the power play side now. Suter, crisscross, fire in the high slot. This one goes in behind the net. Aiden will take a look at it, but this is near the right side dot. As returning back in the box is Jack Eichel. He immediately raced for the puck, but it's stolen. Rope Hintz the one that steals it, and right in the catching glove of Aiden Hill goes the shot.
Well, I surely thought that little skirmish in front of the goal about 30 seconds into the power play resulted in a goal. I was waiting for the light to go off, and that's discouraging right there. It really felt like that was going to get you one.
The puck was around the net, but when I saw some of the replays, I guess it wasn't that close. It was just before the blue paint on the left side of the red line. Aiden Hill was kind of flopping around like a fish. They were there, but there were Vegas bodies in front. As we go to break, 13:44 left to go in the second. Again, time is not a factor yet, but we're almost halfway through regulation. It's still 3-0. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the scoreline side. It is 45-34 Miami with 4 minutes left to go in the second. I think initially Dustin and we probably said Boston. It's still Miami, 46-34, so they do have the edge.
Did I state that incorrectly?
I think we both did on the second time. I said Miami the first time, but I want to just clarify it. It is the Heat. They're up by 12.
With 4 minutes to go, and Benn at a bio at the line.
So far right now, if we're giving you the scoring leaders in particular, Caleb Martin's been really good, 6 of 10, 14 points. And for the C's, it's Jaylen Brown, 5 of 13, 105. He's a volume shooter, but he's got 13 points in 18 minutes. Those are your leaders at the moment.
Well, I see two players in this series that I'd love to see in a Dallas Mavericks uniform. One, Bam Adebayo. Number two, Marchessault. I think those two guys, if they were available, would be great players to be on the same starting five with Luka Doncic.
I'm no GM, my friend, but you would get my vote on that side because especially with Smart, you got someone that can play defense and pair in the backcourt, which is what Dallas needs. And Adebayo can do a little bit of everything and also make jump shots and play defense.
Yeah, and Marcus Smart is big enough where he's versatile. He can cover point guards, but he can pretty much any type of wing player, any type of perimeter player. He could be your guy on that. All right, looks like we're back underway.
As this is sent back around now, Hakanpää will pick it up after a Dallas faceoff win. Luke Glendening out there. And again, in the Game 5 side of it, the fourth line for Dallas was exceptional. Right now, everybody's been kind of sound. The scoring chances per period, if you want to take that as a sign, because again, Dustin had thrown it out there. You don't want Vegas to go in too much of a shell. I was kind of wondering if they're going to do so early. It looks like it, but the scoring chances are 5-0 officially, according to ESPN for Dallas, as this is picked up now off the forehand. Radek Faksa will stop. We'll make the cross pass into the high slot. Heiskanen, one more. And this one will get fired to the net, but this one goes wide, unbelievably, near the right side red line. That was a good design for Dallas, but they missed it all. And Marchessault flipped this one down. Ryan Suter will get a chance to recollect as this is picked up off the forehand for Ty Dellandrea. Kisses in off the window. Dellandrea gets dumped. And a shot goes wide near the left side boards. We'll go off the kickplate. Dellandrea in the middle of the slot. No fire. And this one is blocked by Eichel and sent back down the ice. And off the block, it's not going to be ice. It'll be a race for the puck. This is sent back here for Suter. And one of the helmets pops off of Keegan Kolesar. And they're going to have to blow this play dead because he doesn't have his helmet on.
Oh, that's embellishment.
Anytime you get a helmet blown off, you have to blow the play dead on that side. But again, nothing was happening on that end. So, but they're going to put this against Suter, and I want to see what he did.
Yeah, I remember when I was like 10 years old playing baseball. There was a kid that did that trick too, and everybody fell for it. He would run, he would knock his helmet off on purpose just to make it look like he was hustling, and they would call him safe at first base all the time. Doesn't mean you were actually safe.
So Suter gets a cross check in. I thought he'd be called for the cross check. He got an elbow to the head of Kolsar, but it looked like his. I will say this: you can't elbow him in the head, so it's going to be called. But I will say that Kolsar's helmet came off a little bit too easy. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think he has the Vaseline on his forehead there.
So Vegas's power play, they've been good in this game, but not as good in the series. 1-for-1, 2 shots, 3 of 12 in the
This is
series.
incredibly important for Dallas to not let it go. This is church right now.
This is
if they go for it.
Yeah, this is monumental here, big time, and it's Eichel. He was just killing one, and now Eichel's got it near the right side dot. Send it back here for a bomb for Theodore. This one gets blocked, and Dallas will flip this one down on the players' bench, so no penalty, but we'll do it again in the offensive zone. 12:07 left to go in the second.
Well, Eichel sure is yapping a lot for somebody having COVID symptoms.
He's, I think he's just happy, Dustin, to be out of Buffalo. I think he's going to run his gums. So Eichel,
Oh my goodness.
get a chance to take this draw. He wins it. Theodore's got it. All of the blue line. Make this pass across for Marchessault near the right side dot. And Dallas has an opportunity shorthanded. And Caravante at least killed some time. He was able to get a partial steal. At least took some of the time away. And now Stephenson near the right side dot. We'll put this around the inboards. Marchessault, clean it up as it goes back around for Shea Theodore. D-to-D here for Eichel. Flip pass. Nice able to hold the line as Chandler Stephenson. Sends it back for Shea. Now for Jack Eichel. Eichel stutter step off the backhand. Still with it. Pivots toward his forehand. Now works toward the right side. Down it goes off the bar. He was doing a little bit of everything there, Jack Eichel, and he almost danced his way into a goal. As this goes back now for Theodore near the right side dot. Riley Smith gains the entry off the backhand with a stick lift, and this will be picked up by Luke Glendening, but he's tangled up with OT Karlsson. But Dallas will get this all the way down the ice. And the broken stick on the Dallas side, as Eichel can't believe it, is all over near the right side dot. So that's not going to get cleaned up until the play's blown dead. Barbashev now for Karlsson, Pietrangelo. And here's a chance for Rope Hintz. He tried to stick drag in between three people, but again, Dallas's forecheck, especially on this kill, has been pretty good. They're able to take away some of the time, and with the exception of Eichel's crossbar bit, as it's nicked off.
I think Rupe Hintz dynamic skating is certainly missed right now. It's not as dynamic as it was in the Seattle series. And it seems like the defensive group just has a beat on Rupe and how to defend him.
I think that's a great call by you, and I think you have to do that because Rope Hintz was on fire as far as even Connor McDavid and Draisaitl points. A chance right out in front for Vegas and off of the power play, and this one is just brushed aside. Nobody was there. And now Alec Martinez get a chance to wrap this around. We got halfway through regulation now of Game 5. Vegas still up 3-0. And now William Carrier gains the entry. Hakanpää trying to finish off his check near the right side boards. And Dallas has it. And across the logo. Pick it up off the backhand. It's a chance for Harley off the drop. And Aiden Hill makes the save. And we get a stoppage at 9:44.
Tell you what, it doesn't feel great on the Dallas Stars side because you're still seeing 3 and a 0.
Yep.
But look at that shot total. It's 16-12. Vegas is yet to get a quality shot on goal in this period, and Dallas is creeping up.
And we can of note, too, the ones that go off the pipe don't count as a shot. It was Eichel. He would have had one of the only ones as Jamie Benn brushed away a puck that was going into an open net. As we go to break, 9:53 left to go in the second.
Well, in all honesty, they should count that. I mean, that is a shot on net if it's the post. But other than that, looks like Dallas is they're playing like they need to play. There's going to be a possibility of them sending this to overtime.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like we said, how much of that is going to be a Vegas press. I was thinking we weren't going to see too much of it. I didn't think, Dustin, it was going to be completely non-existent at this point. So Dallas needs to at least get one here in the second period. I know things can happen, and there's tons of time, but You got to get one. You want to get within at least two because I think you go into the third period down 3 against a team like Vegas. That's just a little bit too much to ask. So I know Alec Nava is covering this one on this side. Nick, we appreciate you listening in. Alex got the call for Game 7. It's 52-41 Miami. They have the lead at half. We will give you the complete reset once we get into our second intermission here. We got 9:44 left to go. In second period, Vegas is up 3-0. All their goals were in the first period. Caleb Martin still got 14. Jaylen Brown's got 13 on 5 of 13 shooting, so they made him a volume shooter. Tatum, a little bit quiet, 3 of 7 for 7 points. Nothing in particular is standing out for me on this side. I'm just looking for the team stats, but if you want to go for the field goal percentage, 21 of 45 for Miami, 17 of 44 for the Celtics. So that's definitely going to creep up on that end. We'll get back into our featured contest. Dallas going to go ahead and lose this draw as this one is sent back around the inboards here. And now picked up off the backhand. It's Barbashev. Cross pass. Scores! And Jonathan Marchessault may have put this one to bed. It's 4-0 Vegas. And I will see Peter DeBoer. He was looking at the iPad. I think the only thing left is if there's an offsides. But I didn't see one. But we're looking at the Dallas fans now. And it looks pretty similar to Game 3.
That's a poor goal to give up by your goalie. I still would leave him in there. He's earned that spot. I still don't think it's too early. You're halfway through a hockey game. Dallas is extremely capable of putting 4 goals in between now and the end. So hopefully the players don't view it that way.
I will say this. You might think if it's a poor goal because it went through the 5-hole, but I'll tell you this. It's a blown coverage right down the middle of the ice, and that hasn't changed.
Yeah, more than a goalie deficiency, it's a defensive deficiency.
No, that's just it's not been there right now across all facets.
Which is hard to understand. I don't think it's a lack of emotion, right?
Right.
You can't tell me they didn't show up ready to play today. There's a lack of execution. They're having some sort of strategic advantage.
And we just talked about this going into the break. Stephenson off the back end. Make sure I didn't interrupt myself. But we were just talking about this going into the break. That Vegas hasn't had a hell of a lot of a press because they've been up by so much, and they were just given another goal. So, I mean, now there is going to be nothing here for Dallas to be able to get. There's no way you're going to have any breaks or anything else like that because you're going to have an extra guy back, you would think, at this point. So it's Martinez. He'll fire this one, and it goes up in the netting on a play. 8:41 left to go in the second. Jonathan Marchessault makes this a 4-0 game. I will tell you this, throughout this entire series, he has been a thorn in the side. But Barbashev is wide open, but look where Marchessault is. He's skating in 25 miles an hour near the left side dot. There is not a defenseman in sight. And you got Hintz and Heiskanen on the ice who can both skate.
I still like Dallas's chances to make this a nail biter at the end, but they really need to get a goal in before the intermission. You know, if Vegas goes into a prevent defense situation, we've seen that happen in, pretty much every sport. Once you do that, you just invite a lot of things to happen on your end. So Dallas could still get back in here, but they can't give up another goal, and you really need at least one before you go to the intermission.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with the sentiment. I just wonder how it's going to happen because Dallas hasn't been able to even get into the offensive zone to do much here. Some of the shots I feel like they're getting have just been given to them because they're leaving some of these things open, and all Vegas has to do is not give up any breaks. So, yes, it can happen, but how is it going to materialize is the question. We're going to have to wait and see. With 8:10 left to go in the second, here's a rush for Karlsson near the right side red line as this is picked up off the backhand for Radek Faksa. Karlsson trying to get it now between a couple of skate blades. Faksa is still trying to finish off his check. It's picked up near the red line. Michael Amadio will get a piece of it as the ref almost got in the way. And McNabb will dump this one in deep for Vegas as they pick it up near the left side red line. And now take a look was Wyatt Johnston as Michael Amadio. Again, he was just drawn into the Game 5 line. Just coming back from injury, quite frankly. He's a bottom 6 forward that can fit right into a little bit of everything. As we get some sticks and skate battle near the right side boards, but we get enough movement for the play to continue. About 7:30 left to go in the second. Joining within the play-by-play being drawn by Dustin Hall on the color end is we're at American Airlines Center, but it's pretty muted right now. Vegas is a 4-0 lead. They're trying to go to the Stanley Cup Finals where they await the Florida Panthers. Florida might have about 12 days off before they get a chance to do anything else. The preview show will be on Friday if this series would end tonight. As this is sent in now around the inboards, and Jake Oettinger now from Lindell will put this one in off the window. He's sent back down the ice, but it'll be blown dead against Dallas, so they can't change. While you're talking about tickets and everything else that needed to be cashed, they key in on Jamie Benn and the ESPN side, and they show some of the fans, you know how they're feeling on that end. But cash something. I don't care who it is. If you're Dallas, you have to get the next goal right now. There really is nothing else to be said.
Again, you gotta when you plan in this particular sport, you gotta understand there's puck luck that's involved. There's more quirky things that happen in this sport than most other sports. So I just think making sure you stay true to the process and give yourself a chance. If luck happens to go your way for 10 minutes straight, you know, you got to keep the proper intensity, proper attitude. And, if they start slumping their shoulders and then they're thinking, well, this is done, then it will be done.
Yeah, I just think at this point, in order for that to happen, Dustin, the first step is getting in the net and getting chances to make those things happen. And Dallas has to get to that point first, as this is wrapped around the inboards now, near the right side dot. And this will be picked up across the red line. Heiskanen trying to finish a couple checks, but here's Eichel keeping this off the backhand. Pietrangelo right up in the middle of the slot, cross pass. Oh, man, that was Chandler Stephenson cutting right in. And that pass just missed it. As this is Dallas, they'll gain the entry off the flip. Robertson, and this one goes around the inboards. Missed up the wrist shot near the right post. Vegas can't get it out, but the Dallas can't hold the blue line. Tyler Seguin almost running into his own man. As it's Wyatt Johnston with a stick check. And now Vegas will pick this up, and off the change, Chandler Stephenson will catch it off the shovel ahead near the left side dot. He got hit up in the head. As this is centered out in front, and Oettinger makes the save. This goes back around the inboards here for Martinez. Extra pass. Vegas continuing to move this thing around, but it's intercepted by Heiskanen. But right off the fresh changes for Bruce Cassidy's squad, they'll dump it right back in. And off the backhand, 5:30 left to go in the second. Amadio near the right side boards. Wyatt Johnston. He gets crunched a little bit. This is near the red line side, and will fall back to McNabb. McNabb across for Shea Theodore. Nice touch pass. Nice play between the knees. Riley Smith can't shoot it, centered it out in front. And that was looking a little bit too much like Harlem Globetrotters there for Vegas, but they couldn't get the shot off. Put it around the left side red line as this is a long flip and across, and Vegas will get to it, but it'll be iced against Dallas one more time. 4:59 in the second.
Yeah, I guess my optimism is again probably not accurate because, like you said, there's no reason to think that Dallas is going to start suddenly offensively being better than what they have been. For whatever reason, the Golden Knights seem to have their number today, and just really no explosiveness from the offensive end.
No, that's what I'm seeing, Dustin, and that's what I agree with you. It's just you got to get to that next step before you want to have that optimism. We're waiting for it. Everybody in the crowd is waiting for it. There's still tons of people here, but I just don't like to see in the sense of being completely outplayed at this point. And we were looking for an adjustment in the second period, and now there's another goal to have to caught up to. It's 4-0. This one goes in the netting from Oettinger save. We'll go to break. That's the problem that I have is just the effort is just not there right now.
It's really hard to believe it's the effort, to be honest. I think it's a lack of preparation. It's really hard for me to believe that after, clawing your way back to get to Game 6, it would be a lack of effort in Game 6. So it really looks like they're discouraged by lack of coaching, lack of proper strategizing.
I mean, if we get into a situation, and like I said, I'm not going to say this is going to happen because DeBoer's in his first year. He's been around the block for a long time in the NHL, so he's no stranger to hiring and firing. But if you're an organization, if you're Jim Nill, let's say you really believe that Dallas should be winning this cup. I thought that they were going to be a cup contender. Certainly, this is probably where the ceiling's going to be, maybe even in the finals, because it's how good they are. At least I believe so. But if Peter DeBoer really is that difference, I mean, he woke the offense. But right now, what we're seeing against Vegas, we understand they're a good team, but Dallas is a good team too. This just doesn't look like what we saw over the last couple games. But my point is, if DeBoer is the problem and you really believe your team is right there, you would have to let go of a coach in his first year, probably pay him for the next 5 and say, see ya, collect your severance package.
That happens quite often in this business.
Right.
It happens. People aren't going to hang on to that and say, I'm not going to fire the coach because of the contract. Typically, they will. It is very unlikely that he gets let go at the end of this season. They'll give him another year.
Yes.
But, at the end of the day, I don't know if you're in that position to make that call. Do you think that guy is simply being out-coached? And that's possibly a deciding factor. Because you're doing yourself a disjustice to waste any time.
I think that's a situation that we're on board. Again, it's from what we talked about. Probably doesn't happen in year 1, but I don't think you get past year 2, year 3. At least definitely not year 3. As I know, Dallas is still reconstructing their roster. There's a lot of work to do in the bottom 6. Still more young kids coming. And Vegas, as we talked about, they've been going in all-in pushes over the last 5 years since getting smoked by the Caps in 2018. They're running out of assets to go all in with. So this is Vegas's probably last real chance at this thing. And this is the desperation that we finally saw. Bruce Cassidy kind of fell in their lap because Boston got rid of him for no reason. And then you got Jim Montgomery who lost the first round of Florida.
Looks like we got a penalty on Eichel. This could be a game changer. That's what I'm saying.
So we get an offside penalty. I'm going to go, or offsides. I almost said offside penalty. Offsides. I'm going to look in and see if there is any other penalties on my side. I don't have anything yet on the ESPN box. 3:54 left to go in the second. We're going to get a neutral zone draw. Teams trailing 3-0. 2 of them have forced Game 7 on that side, but they were 0-47 on that end. But we will see, as far as the semis conference finals history, not all the way across the NHL. It's happened 5 times. It's never happened in the NBA. Puck goes out of play. Again, we're still in the middle of halftime between Miami and Boston. Still 52-41 Heat. We will give you the complete reset on that side in between our game and that Game 7. Again, Nick is listening in. You can follow along the coverage with Alec Nava on the Twitter Spaces side. He's got Game 7. We got Game 6 here right now as we're going to be finishing this one off. No matter what happens, if you get a Game 7, that will be Wednesday at 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 on Dustin's time. As this is sent in now for Heiskanen and now Stone. Pietrangelo will fire it in for 3:25 left to go in the second. And Dallas will relocate this thing near the left side red line. Robertson, Heiskanen, everybody, all the big name players, let alone anyone else for Dallas, they got to find an answer from somebody. It can't just be the first line. That was the problem last year when they lost Game 7 to the Calgary Flames when Jake Oettinger had about a 65 save performance. It was a one-line team. It's no longer a one-line team, but Vegas is kind of running roughshod right now. But you still got 3 minutes left to go in the second and in another 20-minute period. So if I'm Dallas, you want to get a goal in the third period, at least within the next 5 minutes, kind of get those check mark boxes. Is here's a fluttering puck. I know it sounds easy to say, but you got to kind of look at it that way, as this is sent in across the red line. Where you can safely gain the entry, Zach Whitecloud will spin. Haven't had to call out of the back entry names for Vegas in their defense, but they're all about 6'2" to 6'4", all the way across the board. They are big and tough to play against. As this is back now here for Nick Waugh. He'll spin with Amadio, lose the puck, and Dallas has it now for Ty Dellandrea. Here's a stretch pass. Maybe even see Dallas maybe try to shoot this thing. but they'll try to make a play instead for Jamie Benn. Here's the flip pass. It's easily intercepted now for Vegas and across the red line. Shots on goal read 21-12. That hasn't changed all that much for Vegas, as you would expect with the lead. But the problem is it hasn't changed all that much for Dallas. The hits are 33-19. Here's an entry now for Keegan Kolesar. He's got a goal and assist on the fourth line side in this game. And his chip off the kick plate right in the front was a nasty one. Oettinger down, makes the save, and that was a big-time robbery of Nick Waugh.
Well, Dallas somehow came back to tie this thing up. You look back at that save, it's a gargantuan one.
He is down with the right glove hand before the puck crosses the line in the full stretch. And I'll tell you this, there is certainly one star that I wouldn't blame, and there's certainly one star that has been locked in, regardless of the scoreline. I know it's 4-0, but Jake Oettinger, he's been the best star on the ice, no doubt about it.
Which is crazy to say when you're down 4-0, but I believe that's accurate.
As this is played near the left side of the red line, again, you can maybe talk about one goal that's maybe against him, but a lot of these ones, he doesn't need to be facing all those. I understand 24-year-old franchise goaltending can stop a lot of pucks, but when you're constantly open in the slot, middle sort of breakaways, I mean, you're asking him to do way too much. As this is picked up now for Kiravanta, forces a steal. He'll power his way in behind the net now off the forehand and wrap it back around for Luke Glendening. So it would have been a fourth line time late for Peter DeBoer's squad, and now played off the backhand by McNabb. Eichel will whistle this around the kick plate as this is recollected now for Hero Heiskanen and now Suter. Suter with his pass is Joe Pavelski, so you get the first line out there for the final minute. Pavelski will flip. Robertson tried to locate with the help of Hintz, and this one goes away as Eichel's pass is picked off. Hintz now will get it in between a couple of stick drags, but he runs out of space. It's Eichel with 45 seconds left to go in the second as this is flipped in. They'll play off the knees in between the legs for Eichel. Now Martinez set it back up for Jack as he's patient on the left side. Walk-in shoots and a short side save by Oettinger with the left pad as it's Martinez. Put this around the inboards now. Shots on goal are going to be 24-12 once that one updates. Marchessault's pass a little bit too far, and Dallas will recollect. Pavelski will just gain the entry on the red line. And if I'm Dallas, at least going in the third period, I know you can't give up any more goals, but honestly, I don't care about that at this point. Press and find something to feel good about the next 5 minutes of the third period. They've got to get in the offensive zone. This is Dellandrea near the right side dot. His drop pass is in between bodies, and that ends the second period. Vegas is added to their lead. It's 4-0. I'm going to step aside for one moment. I'm going to type in the rest of these notes, and we'll catch right back with it.
They may be at a gas emotionally. I think they've used, to your point, they've used so much energy trying to get back in the game. And to me, it looks like they've been chasing the series from game one, getting down to 3-0 goal. They had an emotional event with Benn getting suspended. They rallied around each other to get back into the series. But tonight was a bit all Vegas, and for a good reason. They came out with a purpose tonight, and I
appreciate you guys listening in between the YouTube side. I understand you got a game 7 a little bit uneventful on times like this, but sometimes, again, you expect games like these, and this is exactly what we got.
But I think at this point, they've hit the wall. You still have Dallas here? Well, listen, I'm sticking with it too. I think that Dallas had an opportunity in this series, and the better team is showing as the series goes on. And that's what it comes down to. Vegas is a more balanced team. I think that they've shown way more composure than Dallas has. Dallas showed it the past 2 games when coming back after they would get down the road and score right away. But in the long run, Vegas is a better team, more prepared for eventually probably what's going to come to them. Dallas, man. I like the coach's messaging too. He kept it simple. We're not chasing matchups. I love this pregame better than the guy next to you. It was all the team man to hear. Just bring me attention and you do. Brian Boucher will join us in the intermission as well. Let's go to the second intermission report. He's next.
This is the worst I see ever. His parents hired me to bring him out of his shell before college. This independent.
What about Shark? I'm very concerned about that.
Get here right now.
How's the kid working out?
This is really hard.
Get away from her! You can't outrun the cop!
I lose my license.
USAA? Yeah, they have awesome rates on coverage for our car, home, and stuff. She has a lot of stuff.
Dad.
A lot of cool stuff. But USAA also has banking, credit cards, and loans. Plus advice and other perks.
I'm waiting for America. Thanks, Mom.
And it's all in one spot. So we know she's all set. Because we got USAA. USAA, more than you might think.
Okay, this is going to be a little bit shorter reset than usual, considering what the scoreline is and what we got. But I do want to throw this out there, and I will give you the game story and everything else, as always, when it's all said and done at hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com. So the only goal in the second period was wide open and off the backhand. Marchessault got set up from Barbashev. They got in behind Hintz and Heiskanen. So it's 4-0 Golden Knights. William Carrier, William Karlsson, and Keegan Kolesar have the goals alongside Jonathan Marchessault. So here's the thing. When we went to the shots on goal, it was 16-7 in the first for Vegas. Well, now it's 23-12, so the shots on goal have kind of stayed the same. Vegas has another goal, and we haven't had that press there from Dallas. I know the ESPN side, so maybe they run out of gas or whatever else, but again, I don't really believe that at this point. I just don't see the execution and the effort on that end. At least for me, I think they just look a little bit lost from the way that this is going. It's, again, from what Dallas has shown you, and now the return of Jamie Benn, it's a little bit of a disappointment to see it go the other way. 34-21 are the hits, 17-14 are the face-offs for Vegas as well. So everything is in their favor. The power play opportunities are 1 for 2 for Vegas, 1-0 on the other side for Dallas. Did not score. We're in the third quarter between Miami and Boston. It's 59-44 Miami. Maybe the reverse sweep isn't going to happen. Miami might be able to hold serve. They'll look to play the Denver Nuggets. But here's the thing for me. When it's all said and done, I'm going to stay a few extra minutes on this side because we get to the handshake lines and everything else. I heard some people say that Florida has no chance against Vegas. I don't see it that way. As far as everything else you're talking about, again, I talked about this with Cooper Hopkins on that, so he knows this well between the Calgary Flames and his team. You lost Matthew Tkachuk. Hell, you lost Johnny Gaudreau on that as he went to Columbus. Matthew Tkachuk has 3 game winners in the 4 games against the Carolina Hurricanes, one of the best teams in the East. They also got past the Boston Bruins, who are the most historic team in the NHL, to set the record in the regular season. And they beat the Maple Leafs, who won a playoff series for the first time since 2004. I was a junior in high school on that side. So you can't tell me that for as good as Vegas is, they won the West. This could be one of the hardest runs Florida ever has to ever have to be able to get to a cup and win it. But please don't say anymore that Florida doesn't have a chance to beat any of these teams that are left on there, because that just doesn't make any sense. So what's left is, once this game is done, I'll stay a little bit extra for the handshake line, and we will get everything else all squared away. If it looks the way that it's going, I'm going to talk about Dallas and some of the other things in this season and let you know why the sky is not falling down. This team is exceptional, and they will be back, and everything that Dallas has done is well-deserved. And I think I'll tell you this, and regardless of Colorado stealing the Central over the last day over Dallas, you still had to go up against Seattle, and Seattle beat Colorado before Dallas had to beat them. So there's a lot left to do here, and it should be a lot of fun no matter what happens. I know Dustin's going to be a little bit disappointed on that end, but I will have the coverage of Friday as far as the preview show. Saturday will be game 1. Every one of these games will be 8:15 start. The only game I'll miss is game 4 because I have to go to fiance's sister's wedding. So I'll miss game 4. So as long as it's not a sweep, we won't miss any cup lifting, all of that, as Cooper Hopkins will join me on that end. I will be right back. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will see you just in a second.
When you have a 5th string goaltender, and that he's not a 5th string goaltender, but he was. When you have that guy in net, and you can play the way that Vegas has played, that's a good sign. So I like your word, John. I didn't put Coach. I feel like how is it? They got the pool ball. I'm the fifth string goal. Hey, we go from the pool walk part in Vegas to the block party. That's what I'm hearing. That's my segment here. There you go. About Vegas and what they've been able to do. And you think about the way that they play, and they are just so, as you talk about structured, they protect the middle of the ice. You got one block there, two blocks. Here's Nick Day getting his stick on the puck. 18 blocks through 2 periods for the Vegas Golden Knights. So it makes it awfully frustrating for Dallas to, even when they're trying to generate, they just can't get anything through. Here on the power play, McNabb steps out, blocks a shot. Now, here's another thing that I love about what Vegas does. The D and the goalies work together. They work in tandem. And watch here for Petrangelo. He takes the far side of the net away. And as a goaltender, when the defenseman does it right, you know that half of the net is taken care of. If it's going to go to the glove side, it's going to get blocked. Petrangelo takes care of the far side of the net, allows Aiden Hill to look over to the right, knows the shot's going there, cuts the net in half, easy save. Everything's going right for Vegas here tonight.
I said earlier that we got to put the telestrator away and X nodes and all that. Charlie and I were just thinking we'd like to break down that pool party if we had to do it.
Hey, location. We're in on that.
And the bar. Bar go either way.
You want to draw on that?
I can nail that one.
I got nothing on this side. We're gonna hang out.
These days we're changing.
Not your night, Dallas. Not your night.
This second intermission report is.
I did see something that popped up on the screen. I'm back now on this side. Nick Nurse is now the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. So they did not hesitate to make a change. And if you're Nick Nurse on the Toronto side, I'm back here, Dustin, on this side. But if you're Nick Nurse on the Toronto side, I guess you thank him for his services. And on the other end for Philadelphia 76ers, you're already inheriting a good team. So when you're talking about coaching in a situation like that, I know Doc Rivers has been all around it his whole entire life. Again, he's still available. I'm not anticipating the Pistons be able to sign anybody good, but you have Doc Rivers, you got Mike Budenholzer, and you have Monty Williams. You got to try. You got to get one of them here. So I'll be desperate for something like that. We're going to take a quick look in between between Miami and Boston. It's a 13-point lead for the Heat. 5:25 left to go in the third, and it's Jaylen Brown off the stutter step trying to get around Caleb Martin. And he will force the mid-range from 18 feet, rebounded by Robert Williams. Tatum can walk into a three from right wing. He knocks it down. So Boston is within 10. 66-56 is the score. Tatum's finally got 10. Gabe Vincent is wide open on the other end, and Miami will corral to the rebound. We're going to get back into our coverage in a minute. Bam Adebayo, he missed from 5 feet. And that's a break for the Celtics. As now it's Derek White. He'll shovel his way a slash in off the floater and knock it down. And Boston's got 5 straight points, and Eric Spoelstra, he's taking a timeout here. 4:49 left to go in the third as the C's are back within 8. A little bit of live looking for you.
Welcome back to the Discover Second Intermission Report.
Marchessault, clutch, 9 career goals in a series.
So we just took a little live look in of the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat. The Celtics now within 8. It was 5 straight points for the season. Spoelstra called timeout. 4:49 left to go in the third.
What's the biggest reason you guys are up 4-0 right now? I was just playing our game. I on the forecheck.
And then when we get back into the third period, I'll turn the recorder on and take a little break myself. So what's going to happen at the end of this, no matter what happens, we'll have the complete game coverage on that end. I'll take a little bit extra look.
I mean, we've been around those opportunities in the past.
No, I can hear you, Dustin, on this side. As long as the recorder thing is not on red, you're good right now. It's just me.
What will it take for your line mate, Jack Eichel?
The little part on the left where your microphone is, if that's in red, that means it's muted. That's what I see right now. Or you can try jumping out and jumping back in.
Your leading scorer just like brings that puck deep and forechecks. I think it means a lot. It goes down the lineup, and that's winning hockey right there.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Let's go to our Stanley Cup picks, by the way, because this ties in very nicely. Hey, Bill Zito, the general manager of the Florida Panthers. These guys are still shocked that trade. I love you. I've got the Florida Panthers winning their first ever Stanley Cup. That was in October in the preseason. Somebody on the panel picked the Florida Panthers. I picked them.
Yeah, I can hear you, Dustin, if you're going to talk into it. Everything's good.
The Panthers are guaranteed at 9 days between clinching series against Carolina.
Yeah, so they're showing us. I know I talked about this a little bit in the intro. So 9 days of rest on that side. What's going on?
When entering the final, less rest. So that sets up very nicely for against 20 minutes away.
So I heard him whistle. I just think he keeps muting himself.
I think the strongest team is going to win the Stanley Cup regardless of how many days off each team gets. I don't think it is personally. I think it's, like I said, the strongest team. The team is playing the best. And we had 10 days off in 1987, I think, against Philadelphia.
Yeah, you swept them?
No, but we won the series. And yeah, your legs feel a little heavy the first game, but the rest is not going to be a detriment to any team at this point at this time of year.
I mean, I'm shocked at that record. That's pretty lopsided for the team that got rest high. I never heard that stat before. But, I don't think it matters either. You know, I've been on both ends of it. So, but I think at the end, the series is longer going.
Right.
The more beneficial it's going to be for Florida.
So I'll turn the recorder on here in a second when we get a chance to start the third period, but everything's good on the Twitter space. Everything's good on the YouTube. Appreciate you guys joining in. Again, I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as the rest of the week. My next broadcast probably till Friday, and then the Saturday side, because if this is done, I think the NBA Finals thing don't start till Thursday. I don't want to jump right in on top of that and have 3 straight days of stuff because I got to get locked in. So they're going to show some of the fans here, and hopefully they're not exiting the building from what they're showing, because they're showing part of the watch party and they're showing the people in Vegas. We got one last commercial break coming to us. It's 4-0 Vegas. Give you one last look on this side because I know we're in the middle of the break.
Check 1, 2.
Yeah, I hear you.
Throughout the series, but he is actually looking to attack off the dribble. There's the contact by Vincent. And again, White headed to the free throw line. Vincent picks up his third. Summers is 6 of 7 tonight, shooting free throws. 3 of 3 is White. Until that miss. Watch it shows right up and Adams to the right with the FanDuel TV Plus app. Available for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV connected devices. Well, Reggie, I think Derek White is a really, really smart player, and it doesn't take much to figure out that Jason Tatum is not himself, and so someone is going to have to take
Okay. I try to throw that out there. I don't know if your volume is like down. Sometimes I have my volume all the way up so I can hear you on that side. But if my stuff's screwed up on here, that's probably just the Twitter space itself. So I can officially finish it with the recorder side. We're going to flip back into this just for the YouTube, so I don't want to miss it for anybody.
Continuing theirs in the Stanley Cup final, the Stars have gone from frustrated to confident back to frustrated in this series. From Jamie Benn forcing overtime in game 1, and they lost to game 2.
All right, so I have the recorder on my end officially back. I'm going to apologize if there are any issues with Dustin on that end or myself on the Twitter space. But as far as our official call and getting everything else uploaded, there's going to be no issues on that end. Or as far as the YouTube side, there's no issues. So if we have any problems, I'll just go back into the Sportsnet part of the feed because then they'll go ahead and finish it all off on that end, and then we will carry everything away as we used to. So it is 4-0 the score. I'm back on the Sportsnet feed, and we will close this all back in. We're going to have to take a look at, again, I know what the narrative of the story says at this point as far as this series and all that too. Vegas was out in front. Miami was out in front. It looks like both of those teams are on their way of closing this out. But we'll see, because Dallas has to go ahead and make some changes here as far as just getting into the zone. I think you got to go all-out offense. Honestly, at this point, I don't even care if you give up another one. You got to find a way to get some semblance of life here. And you know Vegas on one end is just going to already play it in. And here's a steal. And toward the middle of the ice, Nick Waugh is going to be able to hold on to this thing near the right side boards. This is flipped back around for Miro Heiskanen. And Heiskanen now will get a chance to recollect near the right side circle. And now picked up off the forehand as it's a chance for Ty Dellandrea, able to gain the entry. And this is put around the inboards now where Vegas will get a chance to locate it. Hopefully everything else is going good on that side, as this is icing waved off. About 19:15 left to go in the third. Again, I got the Sportsnet feed for this one on that side, as this is sent in and recollected by Braden McNabb. He lost his feet, and it took out one of the Dallas Stars as this was sent in here. Braden McNabb just got shark week, got all kinds of air, and this is sent back around for Jack Eichel, as Stone will send this in from Theodore. Marchessault will get the chip, as this is recollected for Lindell. Flip back around now. Lindell will pivot near the left side of the red line, and his pass will bounce in off the right side red line and gain the entry for the Dallas Stars. But again, they're running out of time. Shots on goal are 23-12, about 18:30 left to go in the third. John there with you alongside Dustin Hall. They're taking Game 6 of the Western Conference Final. Here's a rush and a break, and this one is shot around the inboards. So even in a situation where it's been all defense, Vegas still getting all the opportunities. Even on the break side, as Yanni Hakanpää gets stick lifted. Now in behind the net, it's Chandler Stephenson trying to center up the front, but it bounces off of Hakanpää. And now Nick Hague, he's stuck in the offensive end as Dallas will get a chance to recollect this. Here's a shovel pass right out in front of the net. And this is an opportunity. And here's a steal. Here's a chance for Amadio. Drop pass, scores! William Karlsson, call up the Dogs. It's 5-0. Well, again, we talked about it going into the open, and in a situation where I didn't think Vegas got the pinch much. How are you getting thefted behind you? And then Howden able to walk in. He just missed a chance. William Karlsson is the guy that's been the most dangerous, and he gets one to finish it right off. And it's just as easy as you like.
Yeah. At this point, it's an embarrassing show. You keep fighting in the hope that you could hit 3 in the next 15 minutes and make it somewhat awkward for the final 2 minutes. But at this point, it is what it is. You apparently are getting beat by a better hockey team.
Yeah, sometimes you have those days, but we can talk about it over the last couple. And we'll tell you this in all honesty. the fight that Dallas showed you, they had the chance to get back in the series. Well, that's a perfect bar down shot for Karlsson. But they get right back in the series and showed the fight. They showed it. It's just amazing to me, a little bit at least, that there wasn't more of that at home, considering what was in front of them. But now Hakanpää has a chance to pick this one back up for Lindell, getting across the red line now. And Kiravanta, as this is sent back around for Braden McNabb. And Dallas will try to pick this up off the stick check, but will fall back to Essa near the right side red line. 17:20 left to go in the third. And now the seats that we are seeing are empty seats on this side, as this is picked up for a tie to Landry. Ironic Fox, so we'll try to locate it. So Peter DeVore mixing third and fourth lines. Jimmy Benn also out there as well. And now this is an opportunity as Haig runs into his own man. That's a rare mistake there for Vegas, as they'll flip this back around Miro Heiskanen now, trying to get this right to left in this third period. Jamie Benn lost it. Now Nick Haig will wrap this around the inboards, sent all the way back down the ice, and this will be blown dead against Vegas.
I thought perhaps one James Benn may have been in the workshop carving out a paddle, put some extra holes in it to make it hurt worse for his return to the rink, but apparently he came with nothing more than pom-poms today.
I think that's a good analogy by you, Dustin, on that side. I'm shocked, honestly. I understand how good Vegas is. They won the West. They get I've said all the things, but for everything that's happened, it really shocks me at this point. So Kolesar lost his helmet again. Somebody's got to get him some new straps. He's got to go back to the bench. So essentially, Dallas will get an extra skater on the ice for a few extra seconds. Will be flipped back down for Heiskanen.
Again, that's a trick we learned in Little League. You knock your helmet off, you're embellishing, you're calling for a penalty. That's what you're doing. Come on now.
Hintz.
We're throwing men here. We can do better than that.
Put this around the inboards here for Robertson, but it goes too far. Here's a chance for a 3-on-2 rush. Vegas has it. They have all sorts of time. Marchessault will put this around the inboards. Michael Amadio will take a look at it alongside Eichel, but it's intercepted by Pietrangelo. That will just stay on side. He'll get it now off the drop pass, and Dallas will have this. Again, I don't care what the score line is at this point. I know you're probably not winning the game, but if I'm not seeing the rush down the ice and the energy and the slumped shoulders that Dustin's talking about, I'm just disappointed on that end. You got to be able to make something happen. I don't care what it is. As it's Sagan. Flip this back around the inboards for Howden, but it goes too far. And Howden's got it anyway, as they'll flip this back near the left side red line. Spinning around for Thomas Harley and Joel Hanley, as it's Mason Marchman. Thought he might be the one guy that would be taken out of the lineup, but honestly it doesn't matter at this point, as this is picked up near the right side dot.
It looks like he should have been.
I think exactly on that side. 15 minutes left to go in the third. It's Stone. Here's a stop pass for Theodore. Gain the entry off the 1-on-4. As this one bounces off near the left side boards, it was Riley Smith that let it go. And now an opportunity for Thomas Harley. Harley's got it. In front of Jake Oettinger as Radek Faksa overskates it, turns it over, and Mark Stone will dump it back down to Jake Oettinger. He'll shovel it back to his defense. Radek Faksa trying to play off the give and go, but there is Vegas to intercept the puck again. It just feels like they have extra players on the ice right now. As Hanley sends this back for Harley, and Dallas will look to start again with Joe Kiravanta. Played it in off the window. Probably got to shoot it if you're Glenn Denning, as he gets stuck in no play. It's 4 Golden Knights able to steal this one with Nick Haig near the left side board. Jamie Benn off a bounce pass. That's the Lindell now. They'll be patient with it. Put it around the inboards, and here's a chance for Dallas. Flip it back. Hakanpää. Lindell. Back to Yanni. Yanni's going to let this one go for the screen. He's going to pick it back up in between a couple skate blades. Still with it off the backhand. Got to make something happen. Got to shoot it. That's the Lindell. We'll put this around the inboards here. Jimmy Benn trying to locate it. Again, Vegas is going to be happy to let them circle this thing on side. Got to fire it at the net and test Aiden Hill. As this is near the right side. Dot power move to the net. And a penalty hand is up in the air. So we'll see who the interference is going to be on. I think this is going to go against Maybe Ty Dellandrea, they're saying on the CBC side. I'm going to take a look at it. Maybe he's the one that got taken down. He got taken down by Nick Hague, so this should be a Dallas power play. I'm going to flip back to the ESPN side now that we're all good on that end. And we'll get you updated as well for Miami and Boston. They are starting the fourth quarter. Miami's still up 10. So the CBC side is way ahead, I think about 30 seconds. So I think this one is more close to what you have.
Yeah, I'm actually on pace with you to the reconnect. You're about 5 seconds ahead of me.
Okay, so I flip back over to the to the recent side, but did you think that one, was I too far ahead on the one I was using?
I just think everything absolutely sucks right now. So my attitude is poor right now, and I can care less about those type of things, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, you don't have to stick around the whole thing, but I get it, man. I totally know it because I've been there with my own team. But
this is absolutely ridiculous. I thought if Dallas does lose this game, it'll be in a bloodbath. There's going to be people needing dentistry work after the game. We're going to a Warrior. It looks like Vegas is just having a nice little skate in the park.
Yeah, that's kind of how it looked from the start of it. There really isn't any other.
Easy, just running on through there, doing whatever they want to do. So,
and here's the
disappointing if Dallas goes up. If Dallas would have went up tonight, and it was just an absolute brawl. That's one thing, but at this point, you're kind of heading home like a dog with its tail between your legs. That's what I'm saying.
And this is the only game of the series that's honestly looked like this, even though Dallas was down 3-0 and they made the spirited comeback without their captaincy. On the side of it, this was the first game where one team has really had the run of play.
Yeah, I really thought at some point things were going to happen. Dallas would get a couple goals and this game would get going. It just never did. The shot differential never started to climb in the favor of Dallas to a point where you could see that they were getting a decent pressure on the other end. It just never happened. So it is what it is. They got out strategized or outplayed or whatever you want to say. This one was not close.
No, it's not been close, and I think it's going to probably stay that way. But this is a must score right now for the Dallas Stars on the power play here. Jimmy Benn's out there with the mix of that top line. Rope Hintz now near the left side of the red line. This will pick back up by Robertson. It's Hintz and Robertson. It's very contested near the right side dot. It's cleared down the ice. 1:10 left to go in Dallas's power play as they keep eyeing in on Jamie Benn on this side. And it's Miro Heiskanen. We'll have a chance to recollect this back on the ESPN feed. It's a chance for Domi and Sagan. Sagan now off the drop here for Miro. They'll sauce this all the way across for Mason Marchment. Domi trying to backhand it to Mason Marchment. Again, Vegas content to let them stay off the outside. Sagan with an absolute bullet. He was looking for his first point in the series. This one got blocked by Hill. Now Wyatt Johnson emerges in amongst the traffic. Marchment will settle it down. Here for Miro. Skate across the line as it's Marchment. And Miro keeps it just in across the blue line. Side pass right out for Johnson as Domi has to recollect for Heiskanen. Heiskanen on the high slot. Domi with a bomb. And this one's saved by Hill right at the 12-minute mark.
So when you look at the original, your original thoughts on this series before it ever started,
yeah,
you probably would have looked at Dallas being somewhat on the advantageous side as far as the offensive end. Vegas having a decisive advantage defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought that your advantage would be in net. And Dallas just really never had any games where they got that shot total up in the upper 30s, around a 40 mark to really put pressure on this Vegas goaltender. And honestly, I feel like he's played somewhat of a stress-free series.
Yeah.
He's not been under a lot of duress, which is disappointing.
No, and that's something that we talked about. We know that the Vegas defense can do that. They've been a story on that end, but to this point, as you said, this is about as easy breezy as you like. And in my initial predictions, again, for everything I told you, I'll be completely honest. I took Dallas in 7 on this side, so I thought they'd make a pushback. I didn't expect them to be down 3-0. A couple of the games there early, I know you and I talked about. I know we're in the play-by-play. I'll pick back up to something handles, but yeah, a couple of those games were close, and if Dallas had that push in some of those early games, they probably wouldn't even been down 3-0.
And I just think when it's somewhat of an evenly matched series, puck luck comes into play, right, in the National Hockey League playoffs. And that game, too, when you had Vegas 2-1 with a minute to go and give up 1, and then by the time overtime starts, it's already over with maybe a minute or 2 in. That turn right there is where the series was lost, in my opinion. You had them. It's one thing to give up that goal and get it to overtime, but to give up the winner a minute into overtime, that's snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, you said it, because Dallas had the lead with about 2 minutes left. They had to go to OT. They lost it quickly on that end for Jonathan Marchessault. The game was theirs. And sometimes the margins, as we talk about, are razor thin, especially when you got a team like Vegas, especially when you're at this point in the playoffs, no matter what sport it is. You can't give things away, and it certainly felt like they did.
Yeah, I just think that's what it comes down to. When you have you get down to the Final Four and the teams are quality. Those type of mental errors that can make the difference.
So what we know, I believe everything is going to be carried on TNT side as far as the Stanley Cup Finals. That would begin about 8:15 Eastern on TNT and CBC Sports tonight. That's where I will carry part of my coverage and mixing with Cooper Hopkins. 5-0 Vegas. As I just want to see something on the back end for Dallas. I understand the fans are going to give them their salute and feel pretty good about what they've done throughout the season, but this will be a bitter taste to swallow here as we get an icing with 10:07.
Yeah, I think that's poor for the National Hockey League to have that as your final, Vegas and Florida.
Well, no, I will say this, Dustin. Nobody's going to complain about Florida because they had to earn it the whole way through. They did beat Boston.
My point is the hockey fan base, my point, I don't think there can't be. I would hope there is. Maybe there is a big Vegas Golden Knights following throughout the world.
Bandwagon.
Other than that, you're relying on people in Florida and Las Vegas to tune in to watch the Stanley Cup. Ratings-wise, I just think it's poor what they did. My point is, if you're watching Montreal versus whoever, Toronto versus Detroit,
right.
Dallas, I'm just saying, if you had those, you draw in a lot more viewers, which everybody knows the NHL has always been kind of hurting for having a proper follow, if you will. So when you set it up for a franchise team to be that good, that fast, that's cool. All right. So the little fan bases in Vegas will enjoy it and forget about it the very next day. Like, how many extra people are you drawing in with the way that you set that thing up?
The question is now for Vegas, from what you're leaning into, is what happens when the team's not any good anymore?
They may get disbanded with their 3 Stanley Cup trophies. They'll go on 3 championships, and there will be no more. That could actually happen.
Because the one thing I want to say to this, because Sunrise, Florida is very small, but go ahead and blame Boston and Toronto and Carolina. Boston was up 3-1. They had the historic regular season of all time. They're up 3-1 in the series. Florida came back and beat them. Toronto won their first playoff series since 2004. Florida stopped them in 5 games and then swept the Canes. So Florida knows they won it. So I think they're going to be very happy to play against the Golden Knights, and they're going to feel good. They earned it. As Suter. and around now. We'll put this around the inboards. And now Robertson will get a chance to locate this with 8:35 left to go in the third. As Robertson definitely got an extra stick, as this is a chance now for Theodore. It's a 3-on-2 rush, and Vegas has the numbers out and blows a tire. And this could be an opportunity now for Hintz. He's one of the fastest men in the league. And now Robertson will send it to Hintz, but Aiden Hill will hold on to it. And we'll take a commercial break. 8:19 left to go in the third.
So, and I don't want to harp on it, and I don't want to talk about it too much, to sound sour or anything, but I just think it's a poor design for the National Hockey League. Most leagues are looking to globalize and bring in more fans globally, as well as the country that they do business in.
Mm-hmm.
I just think what you're doing right there, you're really. I mean, do you think hardcore hockey fans in Canada and
No.
where Minnesota, wherever you want to say like the most loyal hockey fans are, do you think they're just really like, oh my God, I cannot miss this series between Florida and Vegas?
No, they're not. They're not gonna say that. I get your point on that side. And I don't disagree with you on the Vegas side. All I'm going to say, I know you're not arguing this either because you're correct, but Florida earned where they got to. They had an opportunity to Boston and Toronto. They couldn't get it done.
And maybe I'm mentioning Florida and I shouldn't. They've been around for how long? How long has the Florida franchise been around?
They've made the Stanley Cup final and lost to Colorado in 96. So I think they ended like 94, 95 when Tampa Bay Lightning did.
So they've been around.
They've been around. Yes.
My point is when it doesn't happen like that in other leagues, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like you don't see an expansion team coming to the National Football League and they're in the Super Bowl 2 years later. It doesn't happen. You're gonna have to. It's just set up for them in a way where to me, it's disparaging to the foundation of a league that's been around for a long, long time. All the teams that have very passionate fans, that's literally what they are ready for every year. That's their number one sport. See a team coming here, that doesn't have to pay their dues, and everything's pretty much handed to them. There's like no way they can mess it up to a point to not at least be in contention and where they're at. That's just a poor design in my opinion.
And that's exactly from what we've spoken to. That's what Gary Bettman wanted to do with Vegas and Seattle. Seattle only had to pay their dues for 1 year, and they're already where they are. And you know how that was because that was a 7-game series. But I want to lean into your point here because Ottawa in the 90s, you had Nashville in the 2000s, Columbus, some of the other teams that came in there, Arizona. Man, they all had to deal with fifth line AHL grinders, even the Atlanta Thrashers. But Vegas and Seattle with the expansion draft and everything else now, they want them to be relevant right away. But to your point, what happens when Vegas is not good anymore? Will fans still draw?
That's my point. And you kind of sold something from your actual passionate fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that actually could happen. Once they're not good, they could go away with 3 trophies, and that's the rest of the league is thinking, well, that was awesome the way you guys just set that up on a T-phone. Well, other real hockey passionate fan bases have been waiting for years for something like that to happen. Looks like that will be it. It's window dressing at this point.
Yeah, Michael Amadio has just scored. It's 6-0. I want to talk to your point, too, as far as Dallas Stars, Twitter, and some of the other fan bases. There was a lot of fan bases where the Twitter on Dallas, whoever runs that does a great job, by the way, but they were taking roll call of all the other fans, how many people want to beat Vegas. Nobody was rooting for Vegas, I can tell you that, except Vegas fans. This is put in by Amadio, his third of the playoffs. His 11th game. And now Vegas has it again. Oettinger makes the save. And at this point, again, we talk about Oettinger now, but I guess you're just going to leave him in the whole way through, as it's Riley Smith there for William Karlsson. He gets pinned by Luke Glendening. We got 7 minutes left to go here in the third. It's a formality at this point. But it's going to be Vegas and Florida. Florida has to start every single game on the road. They were the very last team to get in because they were one of the hottest teams about 2 months in a row. They won the President's Trophy last year. They had to make some big trades. Things didn't work out, but they got in. And now they're going to have to play against a team that won the West. So you couldn't have a harder road. You got past Boston, Toronto, Carolina, who's been good for years. And now they're going to try to beat Vegas. Harley now. Go ahead.
I hope they beat Vegas. Is Florida the team that throws the rats on the ice when they win this sport?
Yes, they are. And they're led by Matthew Tkachuk, who's played for the Calgary Flames, who's been an absolute beast. He was on Inside the NBA with Charles Barkley. I don't know if you saw that. There was a really cool interview. I can talk about this because this game is done, but there was a really cool interview where they had some old footage where they both went to Chaminade High School in St. Louis. Jason Tatum and Matthew Tkachuk went to the same school, and it was Matthew Tkachuk doing a little bit of a dance move as he had a laptop computer in his hands, and he was dancing with his teammates. So, yes, I'm pulling for the Panthers. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We know Vegas, they're going to be there for the second time since 2018, and I was rooting for Ovechkin at that point. I'll be rooting for the Panthers now. Both of the teams have never won a Stanley Cup.
So do you think Vegas is the most likely team to get disbanded going into the offseason?
If there was such a thing, I would think as far as
What I'm
fans.
saying, do you think they're going to get broken up? Do you have a lot of free agents that are going to be out of there going to different teams?
Let me tell you this in all honesty. The way that they've been going through off the all-in pushes, they've been trading guys and selling assets. Like you said, they were gifted everything. Now that's all going away. So if Vegas doesn't win this right now, Dustin, I think honestly they have maybe 1 or 2 more seasons before they're just an average hockey team again. This is their last final open window.
Well, that's 1 or 2 more than I would like to see.
I think most people will agree with you, and I'm not going to be sway too far away from that. But yeah, I think their time is done. Seattle's time is just starting. So, because Seattle so far, they had to go through the 1 year. They got Matty Beniers out of U of M, and they didn't mess up all their assets and trade everything in. They're just trying to build it correctly from what they were given. Vegas was selling everything as fast as they can to try to get back there from their first year. So this game looks over too. So no matter what we covered here, we were going to get blowouts on both sides apparently. Miami up 94-73. They are going to avoid being the first team, looks like at least, in NBA history to go down 3-0 and lose. Miami looks to hold it here. They're up by 21. And Jimmy Butler, if there's any sort of issues, he had to shoot a lot, but 10 of 25 for 23 points. So 3 steals, more along his stat line. Caleb Martin with 26. 3 different players with 10.
To me, that's intriguing. To see if playoff Jimmy can pull off something miraculous. I would bet the house that doesn't happen. Though I think that Denver team is hitting on all cylinders. Jamal Murray's finally fully healed from his injury.
He looks good, doesn't he?
Jokic looks like a man possessed. I've really seen him scream at his teammates a few times during the playoffs just for not picking up a loose ball. He looks like he is all about it right now. I think they'll get either 5 games or 6 games at the most. But I don't know. Playoffs, Jimmy can do something miraculous. He's going to get up there on that elite list really quick.
There's a situation here on the side of, as we talk about between Vegas and Florida being a first-time chance.
Did they finally put Eichel in the protocols?
No, what I was going to say, I want to lead into your NBA point because Vegas and Florida on the first side for the Stanley Cup. Well, Denver, this was their first NBA Finals, so they could have an opportunity to win the NBA championship for the first time.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I don't know. I've heard people say that like that's like a surprising thing. They've never had, they had old Allen Iverson, old Carmelo. They've never had the type of team to really ever be there. So it's
Dikembe Mutombo,
I never thought of them as a finals team. I guess when they had the Kimbe, right?
Abdul Rauf, yeah.
Oh, Abdul Rauf.
Yeah.
Chris Jackson. That
yes.
played at LSU with Shaq. Let's see some nice stuff. Watch that. LSU, Chris Jackson, Shaquille O'Neal. That's a tough combo.
You're right. They've had some good teams, but nothing really crazy, right? I agree with you on that side. So, I mean, Jokic, that's got to be the greatest second-round pick of all time.
Man, I'm sorry. If I was an NBA owner, I would have fired my general manager.
Yeah.
several times after I've seen that pick, like, oh my God, wait a minute. Look at my roster again, and they got this guy during a Taco Bell commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So
things like the Dallas Mavericks have the 10th overall pick. They better make that thing count this year because they're on the clock.
Supposedly, from everything we heard, Dustin, it's a very deep draft, and I think that they can do so. They can do something with it.
They need to. There is no time for messing up right now. You have a generational talent, and he seems to like where he applies his craft, but at some point, anybody's going to grow tired of mediocrity when you think that you're that guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to cover here this last 245. I know we've been talking about because the game's kind of gotten underway, but once all this stuff is done, I do want to leave some parting messages for Dallas. And again, it's not going to be a wake as far as everything else because we know that Dallas is going to be back. So I want to throw those messages in there for anyone else that's talking about all this. Here's a cross pass for Pavelski, now Robertson, as we'll put this around the horn. And Dallas overskates. It's been that kind of day. This could be an opportunity for a shorthanded chance. And Oettinger makes a big save on William Carrier. He's already got one. But it just seems like everything in this game, unofficially, they made a good run at it toward the end without the captaincy. But everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And everything on the other side between the NBA Finals game, same kind of deal. So, but it's a delayed penalty. This one will go against Dallas, so it'll be a victory skate thereabouts. And it'll be a Mario here for Smith. Put it in the middle of the slot. This one will go up in the netting. We'll get a penalty here. But once this stuff is done, we'll get you to the handshake line. I'll share a couple things over there across, and then we will set the itinerary.
Yeah, the scoreline looks pretty bad for Dallas, but they showed up. Listen, they wouldn't have had the game 6 if they didn't show up with a fighting attitude. It just didn't work out in a tactical way for this particular game. It just didn't.
No, I agree with you. That's what we talked about when we went into Game 5 and Game 4, Game 5, Game 6 on the side of it. And look, you could have laid down easily with all that. They didn't do so. I thought they fought really hard throughout it. I know there's a couple games, again, we talked about in Game 2, one of the ones you thought they could have had. That was kind of getting away, but sometimes that's the margin that it takes. And then, as you said, that's the turning point for you. I don't disagree with you. I think you're probably spot on with it. And sometimes when you're playing against teams like these, look, when you're in the final part of it, the Final Four, everybody's good. So.
Well, I don't know if I'll be in the mood to do any hockey games with you in the finals. I wish you the best, and I'll probably tune in to listen, maybe here or there. But I'd be interested to get your final thoughts on what the Stars can do to be on the opposite end of this situation next year. For me, it looks like offensively they're decent. I don't know that there's a lot that needs to be added to on that end. For me, I would like to see some bigger bodies and some more physicality on the defensive end. Seems like they get pushed around by this bigger Vegas team. And in case they do face this very same team again next year, what improvements can they make? Are there any free agents out there that are available, that can make an impact? My first name that would come to mind, I know he's getting up there in years, would be like a Brett Burns. Somebody of that ilk.
He's thinking about retiring, but he does like it in Carolina. They brought him in there for that reason, and they got smoked by Florida. But they lost 4 games. They were all by 1 goal. So, but yeah, he'd be one of those guys. And this is a good gesture here by everybody at American Airlines Center. They're waving the towels and they're saluting the team, and as well they should. Dallas Stars had a hell of a run this year. They were just 2 points away from getting first in the conference. Again, the Colorado Avalanche lost in the first round. The Seattle Kraken in 7, and then Dallas finished them off in 7. It's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights. They're going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. They're going to play the Florida Panthers. I'm going to put this on the CBC side so we can get to the handshake line because they won't leave it. ESPN might do so. But I will leave some final thoughts before we close out as far as everything else, because you want to talk about what Dallas can likely do. And I want to tell you this honestly, and Dustin and I have talked about this. This is a team and Jim Nill's squad that's going to be back. You know that you have, who knows with Joe Pavelski. Again, he's still signing all of that stuff for a couple more years if you want to do so for Joe Pa. But again, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent after next year, and he's 38 now. So we'll see what Joe Pavelski wants to do. But Rope Hintz signed for the long term. Heiskanen signed for the long term. You do got to figure out what you want to do with Jake Oettinger in a couple seasons. But as far as that depth, you're looking at the bottom 6 defense at Colin Miller, Yanni Hakanpää, Nils Lundqvist, Thomas Harley, and Joel Hanley are only signed for 1 more year. So those are a lot of moving parts. And then the back end of your forwards on that side of it, you have Ty Dellandrea. He's going to get signed. He's in restricted free agency. Evgeny Dadonov, Max Domi, Luke Glendening, Kiravanta, and Freddie Olofsson. Dustin and I already talked about Max Domi. I think Jim Nill, he's going to get him all taken care of on that end. But Domi and your bottom 6 defense, I think, will be addressed. And this Dallas team will look even better next year.
Yeah, I think going forward, you know what you have in your young core with Robertson. I would think Robertson and Heiskanen.
And Hintz.
I would think of those guys as your top 2 players along with Hintz. You have a nice young core where you need to sharpen the roster. I would say you need to get a little more physical on the back end. Your defenders get pushed around a little bit too much. You have a goalie that's, he could possibly be like a top 5 goalie in the league, but nobody's a top 5 goalie when there's too much space in front of the net. It doesn't matter who they are.
Thank you.
So you need to get some people in there that are not going to be moved around. Let this kid shine. It's not that different. It's not that different than the Dallas Cowboys in the draft this year. Their number 1 pick was a defensive tackle. Why did they do that? Because they want that guy to consume blockers so Michael Parsons can run free. Right? So it's kind of the same thing for your goalie. You need to get some big brutes back there that won't get pushed around so he can kind of do his thing and make things a little bit easier for him. So they're not far away, but if they don't execute those pieces, I guess at some point you have to make a decision on Oettinger. Is he that guy that you're going to commit to for a decade? Is there something? Is there a better option? I don't know. I know time's running out for number 14.
That's the thing that I'm thinking about because Mr. Pavelski does not have a cup to his name, and I would love to see him get one.
Is that correct? Joe Pa does not have one? I really thought he did. Okay.
He does not have one yet.
At age 38, it's very unfortunate that they didn't get a better performance this year from the team because, man, Pavelski really brought it. That was, I don't know. To me, it was amazing when he goes out with that head injury, and then his first game back, he gets 4 goals. Just ridiculous. That's like if you were in a car wreck and you got knocked unconscious, and the next time you go driving through traffic in rush hour, that you're not nervous. I would be nervous.
Yeah.
Personally, I would need to, clean up some bodily waste afterwards, most likely. But to come back like that and just put that performance together, that was ridiculous. So that guy, it's unfortunate. That guy needs to go out with a ring. So maybe that will be the rallying cry for next year if they can put the proper roster together.
He's one of the classiest individuals in the sport. He's incredible at what he does. And, oh, by the way, let's throw the numbers out there. He played all 82 games, 28 goals, 49 assists, 77 points, and a plus 42 for the 38-year-old Joe Pavelski. That is absolutely beast mode.
And on top of that, he's basically a godparent for Wyatt Johnston.
Yes.
Wyatt Johnston moved in with Joe Pavelski so he can learn the ropes. I mean, what a good human being. I can't say that I would do that if somebody wanted to move in with me. It's like, hey, once you teach me how to be a man, I'd be like, absolutely not. I want my own privacy, dude. Get out of here.
It's a lot of responsibility for a 19-year-old.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Bring him in like he's your son. And
Yeah.
you bring him along. I mean, what a great guy to do something like that on top
Absolutely.
of when he contributes to the team. I mean, that guy's obviously a leader.
Without question, again, I don't want to leave this on a sour note here, but I got to get your thoughts, Dustin. I know one game doesn't make a whole season because Jamie Benn, again, 33 goals, 45 assists, 78 points, plus 23. He's had a resurgent year. He's looked the best he's looked over the last 3-4 years. But I think you sit on this, and again, you get motivated for next year, even for Joe Pavelski, like we talk about. But Jamie Benn's certainly going to want to wash the taste out of his mouth.
And what did you say Ben's age was? It's funny because I think when I first started playing the video game with you, that was sometime around when Ben came into prominence. I remember seeing him play for Team Canada, and I was so excited about this player, this new guy we got. But is he going on like 16 years, something like that? Is that about right?
So Jamie Benn right now is going to be age 34 when he does enter on this side. So yeah, he's been around that long, Dustin. You're right.
So 34 is relatively young in hockey. Sometimes you see some heroic performances by 38-year-old hockey players, i.e. Joe Pavelski, i.e.
Ovechkin. Yep.
So, no. I mean, if you're saying if the stars should depart from him, absolutely not. No. You hope he has some sort of redemption in the future, and the crowd goes wild looking back on the nonsense that happened in this playoff run, and there's some type of heroic ending to it, because at the end of the day, he's creeping up on dark years at this point, right?
Yeah.
Being with one Dallas team for as long as you have, so no, I don't think there's any reason to kick that guy to the curb. He's still producing. He made a brain dead play at a worst time of the year to do so, but no, at age 34, I don't think he's declining to the point that you think he's a detriment to your roster by any means.
No, I just like to see a little bit of a redemption arc, like you said. He signed for 2 more years. That's your captain on that side. That's not going anywhere. And I know that Dallas is going to be back. I think there's just a little bit of retooling, as we said. Logan Stankoven's going to enter. He's another 20-year-old. There's other pieces there. And as we close out this broadcast, we'll just give you the final 2. So the reverse sweep didn't happen. Miami Heat hold on. They win 103-84. They're going to be taking on the Denver Nuggets. So game 1's going to be at Bowl Arena, and I believe that's going to be on Thursday night.
Well, that makes me feel kind of happy at least the Celtics lost, right?
And so, yes. So Nick is going to feel miserable too. So.
Yay! Instantly feel better. That's nice.
No, I appreciate you joining with me on this stuff, Dustin. I know it sucks. I know the Red Wings have been through this, and I know I'm going to feel the pain probably in a couple of years when they make and get waxed, because they've lost to Tampa Bay quite a bit. So I appreciate you, man.
It does suck, but also at the same time, that team is nice.
Yes.
And, they did bounce back. They did fight. The deficit tonight looks really bad. It would look like a team that packed it in. That wasn't the case.
No.
They just got beat. They wouldn't have got to game 6 if they were quitters and weak-hearted and things of that nature. So, at the end of the day, man, I really can't wait to see what this team does in the future. They need to stack that team with a little more physicality to go along with Heiskanen and Robertson and Hintz and all the young talent that they have. But really not too upset here. It's not like that was their window closing. I think their window is wide open.
No, their window's just opening as far as I'm concerned from everything that we talked about it. Hey, I appreciate it, man, as always. And again, you can always listen in if you want to on that side. I know you'll be tuned into the NBA Finals as well. So before I let you go, what do you like in the NBA Finals?
In the NBA Finals, I will take Denver in 5 or 6. I haven't decided as far as the length of that series, but 100% Denver. They're a well-oiled machine, and I don't think Miami has anybody that can cover Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
No, they don't have anybody to stop that freight train. So they're just going to have too many open shooters. Miami's going to be struggling to get open shots more, and you really can't underestimate also going to Denver and playing in that climate. They're gonna be grasping for a win while Denver's just rolling, and I think they get it done in 5 games.
All right, you heard it here first from Dustin Hall. He's going to say 5 games. I'm going to go Denver in 6. I'm going to split the difference there on that side. I'm going to take Denver as well. We will talk soon, my friend, and I had a lot of fun with it regardless of the result. We did get to see Dallas win a couple of games, so we know they're going to be back. As always, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot, and I think one day you're going to get a job where you get paid handsomely for this. You get a king ransom for what you're doing here because you're very good at it. You're professional, and it's about time you got a damn job in this profession.
Well, make sure when I do, make sure you make fun of me and say all the other things and say that I got you there, so that way you get a stipend from my pay.
I expect you to give me a job.
Yes.
Let's not get it twisted here. You
Right.
better bring your teammates with you.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
Exactly.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Sounds good. See. All right, everybody. I know there wasn't a lot of foot traffic there on the YouTube side, but I had a lot of fun with it nonetheless. We knew it could be a game like this, but it is. The Vegas Golden Knights, they won 6-0 against the Dallas Stars, and they will play the Florida Panthers on Saturday. So here's the business for anyone else that's just joined in late. Here's the itinerary. So Friday will be a Stanley Cup Finals preview show. I'm going to have that one about 6 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to go over everything between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. The series will start at T-Mobile Arena on Saturday at about 8:15 Eastern. All the games will be about 8:15 Eastern as far as the puck drop. So Friday will be the preview show. Saturday, Cooper Hopkins will join me. We're going to try to get as many of those games in as possible. The only game that I will miss is Game 4, basically, because I have to go to my fiance's sister's wedding on the 10th. That's right where Game 4 is. So that's the only one I will miss is Game 4. So hopefully there's not a sweep in the Cup Finals. Other than that, Cooper Hopkins will be with me the whole way. We'll have the usual broadcast crew. I thank Dustin Hall for joining me all the way across. It was a lot of fun. Again, I have the Dallas Stars resident expert. But that's the itinerary. So the next broadcast for me will be the Stanley Cup Finals preview show about Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then I will take you right into Game 1 Saturday about 8:15 puck drop with Cooper Hopkins and myself, as it's the Panthers and the Golden Knights at T-Mobile Arena. Have a good one, everybody. I will see you then. If there is anything else in the interim to broadcast, I could get to it, but I think Friday and Saturday will be our next days. Peace, guys. Appreciate you. Have a fine Memorial Day.